and welcome to Cameron+Deanna. We are chatting about our recent trip to Disney World and aboard the Disney Wish. For people on Twitch, thank y'all for being here hanging out with us. Also on YouTube, going to encourage you to go check out our reactions to the Disney Parks panel
from D23.
And so, we should introduce ourselves again. I'm Cameron.
I'm Deanna.
And so we, as part of our 4-year anniversary, went on this trip. And so our goal today, we did one of these previously when we went to Disney World in February.
Yes, we did go recently.
Yes. And so today we're going to kind of do the same thing where we're going to talk through the trip, kind of show off some of the merch that we picked up, stuff like that, and kind of just go through. There's not necessarily going to be any big structure. So if you have any questions in the chat about planning a trip or how we went about it or why we did some of the things that we did, please feel free to drop those in the live chat on Twitch or in the YouTube comments.
Also, if you're planning any kind of Disney trip, just
just
slide into my DMs.
Yeah, Deanna wants to hear about all of your trip planning
and
stuff.
You will not be able to get me to stop talking, but I love helping people figure out what they need to do or what might be best for them and stuff like that. But yay, Disney. Okay.
So sorry, I'm just redoing titles and stuff.
Okay.
So why don't you start us off with Disney World stuff?
Okay, so this was our trip was a Tuesday to a Monday for the whole trip. So we get there on a Tuesday, kind of early in the morning. It was like the first flight to Orlando out of Dallas, and we get there like 10, 9?
Yeah, something like that.
Like 10 something. And then we checked into Port Orleans Resort. Port Orleans French Quarter, so there's two sides, but we stayed on the French Quarter side. It's very cute. It's obviously New Orleans French Quarter themed. There's like kind of like Mardi Gras themes going on. And what did we do? Oh yeah, we took a boat over to Disney Springs. We did a little bit of shopping for a few things. We didn't buy a lot. Mostly we bought stuff for the little gifts we were going to give on our cruise ship, we'll talk about later. And we also ate a deluxe burger.
Didn't we eat? So we went to Deluxe Burger on our February trip as well. It was super good burgers. Really liked
really
the
good
stuff
fries
there.
too.
And so that was one of the places that, like, when we were back in Disney Springs, we were like, well, we definitely need to go do this.
Yeah, it was quick too, so it's nice. Like, if you just need a quick dinner, it's not like a full sit down or anything. But yeah, and we did that. Then we went back to the room and relaxed for a little bit to prepare for the Halloween party, or Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. And we were going to dress as pirates. And that was super fun. And this was your first time.
Yeah.
So you tell about your Halloween party experience, because I'd been before with my friends.
Yeah, and so something that kind of like shocked me about it is, like, of course they do like special food, special stuff like that for it. But I was kind of amazed at just like how much of the park was open. So like it happens in Magic Kingdom, and basically it's just a extra park day. I was not expecting it to be as much stuff going on. And so, like, it was really cool. Basically, we went and did, like, a bunch of the rides that we wanted to do, which would play in later when we get to one of our other days. So, like, it was really cool to get to go and do all of that. We went trick-or-treating.
Do you have your bag over there?
Yeah, I have my Not So Scary, like, reusable bag from the Halloween party. And then, yeah, the back is the 50th. And so,
yeah, usually they did plastic bags, but it's probably more environmentally friendly that they give you little reusable bags. You could trick or treat with that too if you were a kid.
Yeah, I really like it. It's the type of thing that, like, I think it's always cool just to have them do like this, I'll say, like, low impact merch, where it's like you're not having to go shop for this. It's just, here is this thing and you can keep it.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that we talked about, and we actually bought this one, but one of the things that we've talked about from our previous trip is when we did our day at Universal. And we picked up the wand reusable bag, or the reusable bag at the wand shop, and just like how cool it was to have that type of big reusable bag. And I think that those are the types of things that are just very fun. It's very easy to get more use out of that.
Use as a grocery bag.
Yeah, versus just kind of being stuck with, oh, here's this bag that I trick-or-treated with, and then I'm going to throw away. And so I think that was really cool. And then we, what did we eat? It was like the buffalo.
It's like it was like a spell book. It looked like the Hocus Pocus spell book, and it was like a buffalo chicken hot pocket kind of thing. But it was pretty good.
That was really good. I enjoyed it. That was one of the big things that I had wanted to try, just from like there's like special menu for the event. And then we went and did, like I said, a whole bunch of the rides. Pretty much everything except for Seven Dwarfs.
We rode
right?
Haunted Mansion. Well, we rode Peter Pan before the party actually started. Then we rode Pirates. We rode Haunted Mansion. And did we ride Big Thunder?
Yes.
Yeah, we rode Big Thunder. Trying to think what else. We rode a few things. And then, we rode Space Mountain. And I think that was it. And then we watched the parade. And yeah, what all did we do? We watched the parade and then I think we watched the parade, and then maybe did we go? No, we watched the parade last. I'm trying to think. We went and got a picture with Captain Jack, and then that was really fun. I was super awkward. But we had to get a picture of Jack Sparrow because we were dressed as pirates, so we had to do this whole thing about we wanted to join the crew of the Black Pearl or whatever. And then also at the beginning of the night, we rode Pirates of the Caribbean because they had live actors in the ride. So they had people like at random points during the ride that would just interact with you, and they're all dressed as pirates. And so that was super fun. And I don't know if they did this on purpose, but we got in the front of the boat. And I wonder if they did it because we were dressed as pirates. Yeah. They're like, okay, you guys can sit in the front of the boat kind of thing. So that was super fun. And then we, after later in the night when we got a picture of Jack, then the fireworks were starting as we were trying to get back to the hub. And so we watched the fireworks, which with not a great vantage point because we didn't stake it out. But it was still cool. It was a fun little fireworks show. And then we watched the Sanderson Sisters show, which that one was super fun because they had like all the villains and things. And then we moved locations to then watch the Boo to You parade that has the song stuck in your head all night.
Yeah, that parade was really fun.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. It's very like, I mean, it's obviously like Halloween themed.
Yes.
But it was very cute.
You have like pirates and ghosts and Haunted Mansion and Hocus Pocus and all kinds of stuff. Oh, you putting text on the screen?
Yeah, just since what are we doing? We're gonna be talking about Archer. We'll put it down here in the corner.
Yeah.
So that way, when new people come in, they know what's up.
They know what we're doing. Yeah.
And Chat Chunk says Tower of Terror. So that's
in a different part.
Yeah, that's in Hollywood Studios. So we didn't get to do that as part of the Halloween party, but we did get to do that. It'd be cool to have a Halloween
party at Hollywood Studios, though.
Yeah, I do think that would actually be really cool, and I feel like at Magic Kingdom, like the biggest thing that they have is Haunted Mansion, that's kind of like spooky themed, and
they have like a Sleepy Hollow like little walk-up stand, and of course Pirates of the Caribbean is kind of
that kind of walks that
spooky.
line.
It's got skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then kind of the space stuff or like aliens you can kind of put in there too. But yeah, so what was your favorite thing? And also, of course, there's trick-or-treat lines, and some of the trick-or-treat lines I set up in like attractions. So like we walked through the Country Bears ride. Like we have no intention of ever doing this, but how we got to see the inside because we wouldn't go take time to go see it otherwise.
Yeah, the Country Bears freak me out.
Yeah, they're
So
freaky.
they're one of the things that like I'm gonna just not be a part of that. And so, but it was really cool to see that area, like just kind of what you were just saying, of like see that area, walk through it, and be like, yeah, this is enough.
Yeah, and then what else did we see? They had like one through the PhilharMagic show, which we ended up not seeing, but that's just a little like theater show, and things like that. And it's also through some of the restaurants and things. So it's kind of a fun way to like see stuff when it's like either not open or not running, so you can kind of go through these different areas.
Didn't we go through the Tiki Room also?
Yeah,
that was one.
I think we went to the Tiki Room. Yeah, I really enjoy it, and it's fun seeing everybody all dressed up. We got a lot of compliments. They're like, "You guys look awesome," in our costumes.
Yeah, and we wore what's basically like our Ren Fair costumes.
Yeah,
and
it was like Ren Fair pirate costumes.
And so like that was pretty cool to get just to have another opportunity to wear those.
Mm-hmm.
Just since I didn't get to go like full on because it was boiling lava hot.
Yeah, you didn't have all of your pieces on, but you still looked great.
Yeah, and so it was definitely really cool to go and do and get to do that in costume. And
yeah, and I personally just love the trick-or-treating because it makes me feel like a kid again, because as adults we can't trick-or-treat.
Yeah, got a whole bunch of candy.
Yeah.
And so
except they gave us all Snickers, and we're not huge fans of Snickers, and so I took those to work.
Yeah, I feel
so
like
most of my bag of candy was Snickers. I was like,
I feel like about half of our candy was Snickers.
and I was like, where's my Milky Way and Three Musketeers that I like? But it's fine. I didn't need more candy. We still have a ton of candy. I love Halloween, so there's always candy in our house around Halloween and sometimes Christmas. But right now we've got candy corn and cookies. It's a problem. But anyway, but yeah, the Halloween party is super fun if you're going in the fall, because it's kind of a nice way to have like kind of an extra park day. Like if you're having a day where you're just doing resorts or you want to sleep in or something, it's a fun way to have some time in the parks without using a full park ticket. Or it's a good way to kind of, you could also end your trip on that. Like if you don't have an early flight the next day, like you can sleep in a little bit, because it goes till midnight.
It's like 4 to midnight, right?
Yeah, well, you can get in at 4, but the party starts at 7. Yeah. So there's a lot to do. But I like doing that because it's a different experience in the parks rather than just doing another park day. Yeah. Especially if you love Halloween. Like if Halloween's not your favorite, don't spend your money on it. But if you love Halloween, definitely do it. Oh, and they had all the character stuff too that we didn't do. Like you can meet Jack and Sally and a bunch of other characters that you wouldn't see otherwise.
Yeah. Vic, welcome. Happy to have you with us. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. Chunk says no candy corn. Regretfully, there was no candy corn was distributed.
There's candy corn on the Wreck-It Ralph float.
Yes, there was some
on the parade. But yeah, that was the Halloween party, pretty much.
Yeah, and as you said, I think one of the cool parts is kind of just getting to see the park in a different time of day, because you get to be there so late,
especially when you're there when it's hot. It's nice to go in the evening.
Yeah, and then I don't think you mentioned this, but for the parade, it opens with the headless horseman, and so someone is like on a horse,
a real horse.
Yeah, a real horse clip-clopping their way through the park, to open up the parade, and so that was really cool.
And everyone cheers for the pooper scooper.
Yeah,
there it comes up behind them.
Someone's doing the hard work of cleaning up after that horse.
After the spooky horse.
So that was a really fun touch. And then we looked at the Halloween merch. There wasn't really anything that jumped out to us.
Yeah, there wasn't much that I didn't have already, because the last year I bought a little candle holder and I bought a candy bucket. But yeah, there wasn't anything as far as the shirts and stuff goes that I was like, oh, I need that. Because a lot of times their shirts have a lot going on them, or everything's long sleeve, and so it's kind of tough to pick stuff like that where we live, because it's oh, this is a cute sweatshirt, but I'll never wear it because I live in a hot place where it's never sweatshirt season, and we already have a lot of sweatshirts that we don't even wear very much. So there's that, and then some of the designs just didn't stand out to me as something I'd wear anytime. That's the other thing with merch, is I kind of like to buy merch I could wear anytime, and a lot of it was very much this is for Halloween. This is
and there was a shirt that I kind of liked, but to what you had just said, it was a bit too busy. Yeah. And so it was one that because I can wear geeky shirts to work, and so it was just one of those of I don't know if this is really up my alley. Yeah,
and a lot of their merch lately, so I'm a person, I like basic t-shirts, basic t-shirt with a cool design, basic t-shirt, cool design. A lot of their shirts were kind of weird, thick t-shirt material, or it had weird either embroidery or weird designs on it. They're kind of plussed up t-shirts, and I'm I really just want a basic t-shirt with a design on it, because even with, if it's not a shirt I'd wear normally, if I really liked it, I'd buy it in a large and wear it as a sleep shirt. A pajama shirt kind of thing. But there wasn't even that. I just went basic shirt, because they sell some of those, but the designs aren't that interesting. So there's kind of a weird divide with Disney clothing merch. It's it's either really, really, really basic t-shirt, or it's way too over the top. So
Mathematics in chat says, no one, me. All Ant-Man action figures are life size, no matter the size of the figure. So we got Ant-Man stuff coming up later.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to call that out. But yes, I agree with you.
And Chunk says, you're in Texas, you ever have sweat? So we do have sweatshirt weather. It's just really short. And the other issue is I'm not in school anymore. And when I was in like school every day, I'd wear a lot of sweatshirts during school.
Yeah.
Because it's really cold there. But I work at a place that's like business professional, so I can't wear hoodies to work, which I would love to. But I think that's the one annoying thing about adults, and like when you're an adult with like clothing, is a lot of the stuff that you could just wear to school, like sweatshirts or like graphic tees and stuff. It's like that's not appropriate for your workplace where you are for most of your life. Yep. So it's like that's the other thing with owning a lot of t-shirts. Like I love t-shirts, but I either only wear them after work or if I go on a trip like to a con or something, or just around town occasionally. So it's kind of weird. Like I don't have as many opportunities to wear fun graphic tees as I did when I was in school.
Yeah. Madbird says, not exactly DJ why you're not following us already. We thought you'd been following ages ago. Correcting that mistake. Hey, we appreciate the follow. Thank you for coming by. Appreciate you. We are recapping, as you can see, our Disney trip, and then we're going to get into our time on the Disney Wish. And Chunk asked a question earlier I wanted to talk about, too. He says, so it doesn't cost a ticket for the Halloween party? It's a
separate ticket.
Yeah, so you don't have to buy a park ticket. It's a separate thing. And in fact, if you buy a park ticket, you can't stay for the Halloween party. Yes. They actually kick you out.
You need to go to another park or leave.
Because as we said, like you can get in for the Halloween party at 4, but it doesn't start till 7. But then at 6 is when they start kicking. That's when they start kicking out.
At 6 they shut down all the rides.
Yeah, they start shutting down all the rides so that
the regular people would leave.
Yeah, so they basically like do that as a way of kicking out all the people that just have a normal pass.
I didn't know that they did that. Yeah. I thought they were just like, we don't let you on rides anymore. But it makes sense if it's like they can't ride anything, then they have no reason to stay.
Yeah.
Or they don't think they can ride anything. But yeah, they take away all the wait times and everything and just shut down the rides at 6, and then everyone starts leaving.
Yep, which is a great time to go and eat. It's
a good time to eat. Yeah, it's a good time
because like everybody else is leaving, so you can just kind of grab a bite to eat and wait it out, and then or head towards the rides. And so.
But yeah, Chunk is like, I hate wearing anything but t-shirts. But yeah, like this is why I want, like Cameron has fun nerdy shirts or like button downs are like nicer, but they have like designs on them. But women, we don't have that. I need like a cute blouse with like subtle like fun designs, but they don't make that for women's clothing. It's just boring stuff. Yeah. But so anyway, sorry, what you were saying about the party? Yeah, it's a separate ticket, and they do kick people out. So you buy it separately, so you don't need a normal park day ticket, but you purchase a ticket for the party, which is about the same as a park day ticket. But you're getting included like candy and experiences and stuff that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah.
So nothing is free. But yeah, and then the next day we went to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, the best park.
And we rope dropped the Toy Story stuff.
Yeah, we went and rode Slinky.
And Toy Story Mania.
Toy Story Mania. This was my first time riding Slinky. And
mine too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a fun coaster. Like,
yeah, it's cute. It's not worth an hour wait, but it's definitely worth a ride.
It was one, because like when we had gone in February, the lines were crazy. And so it was one that's like we had wanted to ride then, but we definitely it wasn't really appealing to us that much. And so it was really cool to go and just knock it out and get to experience it as part of the like just right away in the morning and just have it good to go. And then as you said, we did Toy Story Mania, which is like
Cameron won.
Yes. Which is like a game where you're like hitting targets. It's like an interactive thing. And so that was really cool. We had done something similar.
The same ride.
It is the same one at Disneyland?
Yeah,
okay.
It's the same one.
I didn't remember if it was actually the same or if it was just same idea.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool. It's a very cute thing of like all the toys are like throwing targets and stuff like that, and you're
like throwing pies at things.
Yeah. And so it was really fun to do that.
Or it's like pies or rings.
Yeah.
Or like the thing you're throwing changes.
It changes for every room, and so.
And then I think we went to Galaxy's Edge No, we rode Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway
Right,
on
which
the
is-
way to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, which is my first time riding that. I hadn't ridden that one before, so that was really fun. So the whole idea is that Mickey and Minnie are heading to a picnic, and then
What could go wrong?
yeah, what could go wrong? The day, it's a perfect day, nothing could happen, and so then they chaos ensues because they accidentally mess up Goofy's train, and so then it's all of the stuff that's gone wrong as they're trying to make it to their picnic, and so. It was very cute, very fun ride. It was like
It's better than Ratatouille, in my opinion.
yeah, I agree.
Or the Ratatouille ride at Epcot. I say that because they're very similar.
Yeah,
They're like the trackless vehicle, but I think this one's has more going on.
yeah. There's a handful of those that they've brought in. That's kind of like their latest wave.
Yeah, Rise of the Resistance is the same
Is
technology.
one as well, yeah. And
At least partially.
so yeah, I think that's super cool. It was a lot of fun to do, and it's always nice when the queue is inside as well.
Yeah.
And so even though it wasn't like that hot yet, it was definitely hot enough to be like thankful that we could be inside.
Yeah. And then we went over to Galaxy's Edge and I got a coffee, the new Black Calf cold brew thing, and we split a breakfast Ronto wrap.
The Ronto wraps are very good.
Num num.
Also, I'm sure we talked about this in our February video, but the theming of Galaxy's Edge is so good. So like the Ronto wrap place, they're like cooking it with a
Pod Racer
engine is like what cooks your food. And so I think that's always it's a lot of fun to see them do that theming. And
yeah,
so
it is super immersive. Like just sitting in there makes you feel like you're in Star Wars. You're just like, I'm here and I don't ever want to leave. And I want someone. We kept saying this throughout the trip with all the theming areas. We're like, who can I hire an Imagineer to come build my house? And like I want it to be like each room is like this theming exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they do. Yeah, and I forget what we rode for. I think maybe we did like Millennium Falcon and then Rise of the Resistance the first times.
Yeah, the first times ... We'll come back to that.
And then we also did Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster somewhere in the morning.
Yeah. And we had a very packed morning. One of the big differences between this trip and our February trip is that the parks were pretty empty when we were there. We got very lucky on our days.
Yeah, like surprisingly, like where is everybody almost to a point? Like why aren't the waits ridiculous right now?
Yeah, so we did more by lunch on this trip than we did in our whole day in Hollywood Studios last time.
Yeah. That's just how drastically different the crowds were.
Yeah. And so going back, doing Smuggler's Run, which is the Millennium Falcon ride. Awesome. Definitely love that ride. I think we had lunch after we did those things, and then we park hopped, I believe. Because we had Docking Bay 7. Yeah. One of my favorite parts of the Falcon ride is that when you walk in, you get to like go into like that lobby area where the table is, where they play. What is the
Sabacc?
Sabacc, thank you. And so you get to kind of
Dejaric, I think, is the chess game.
Okay.
Sabacc is the
card
game.
Okay. And so you get to kind of go in there and hang out in that room while you're like waiting for your waiting to get into the cockpit. And so like that's very cool.
We got to pilot it, but I think that was one thing where we almost got assigned as not pilots and go, oh. And Lily's like, do you want to be a pilot? I'm like, yes. She's like, just tell me then. It was funny. She's like, you want... And I think, too, like, because the crowds weren't so crazy, they could do stuff like that. Like, we can take our time and give people the position they want because it's not insane. We're not trying to get as many people through.
Yeah. Do you want to do merch as we go through, or do you want to do merch at the end?
I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Well, I have one that I'll show off now, and then we can decide the other. So I did pick up this new pin of R2 going into the Falcon, and so very excited about that.
That's cute.
I'll be posting some pictures later on. Actually, oh yeah, it's over there. It's too far away. One of the things that Deanna did yesterday with some help from me is making a pin board so that I can actually like have my pins up and display them on the wall.
Yeah, and you can post that on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll have some pictures of that coming up. So so really excited kind of as part of this I picked up some new pins and so I'm very excited to kind of get those into a spot. I'm not like a huge pin collector in the sense that like I don't do like the blind bags or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's
If we see one that's
yeah.
cool, we'll like, I want that.
Yeah, and I'll show off another one later on as well.
Yeah, I have a little pin board going too because when I did the races and stuff, and also the virtual races, they kept giving me pins.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, these are really cool because they're like replicas of the medals that you get. And so it's kind of cool to have those. I'm like looking over at it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a really easy souvenir to bring home.
Right. And I think that's part of what's gotten me really into pins lately is that they're a lot easier than like t-shirts or something like that where you already have so many shirts.
And also for me, like, I think I've turned into a pins and magnets person where there are Christmas ornament people, which I can really see the Christmas ornament thing, but I'm also like, it's a lot of things to keep track of. And then you only get to see them once a year, whereas magnets and pins, like you have a little pin display, then you can see them all the time. And so it's like a reminder of your trip. Whereas like I can understand like the Christmas one, but yeah, I'd almost for like Christmas ornaments would want to do like our first Christmas, but we didn't even start doing that, so it feels weird to like start it in the middle of something. But if we got a Christmas tree, it's almost like, oh, this one's cute, we'll just pick that up for it. Like, but not, I don't think I want to be the Christmas ornament collector person because I've been that person in my family and we have way too many, and it's like ridiculous. So I think I like the pins and magnets because they're smaller, they take up less space, and you see them all the time.
Yeah.
And the magnets get to hold up your Christmas cards that people send you.
Yep.
So, but then during the day we hopped over to Epcot and rode Guardians. But you want to tell the funny thing that happened with our riding Guardians?
So Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is the new roller coaster. The idea of it is that at Epcot, the Nova Corps has basically come and set up a booth where they're going to demonstrate like their power and so, or their country or their planet, whatever. Kind of like how when you go to Epcot, you get
get this ready.
Okay, you get all of the other countries that are doing their thing. So in this one, you have one that's the Nova Corps, and it's whatever their planet is called. I can't remember the name of it off of the top of my head. But it's that planet. Xandar, thank you. And so that's kind of the theme. And so then you go on the ride. It's very cool, awesome queue. They actually tell you to not like film during it, but of course people are. And the cast wasn't enforcing the rules. So
also just because of the ride, like you probably don't want that in your hand because you might get flung around.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, so the rough idea is that like a celestial shows up. And then chaos ensues and you end up going through time. And so it's a very fun ride. It kind of combines a lot of the showmanship of like Rise of the Resistance or even like Mickey's Runaway Railroad or any of those things where there's like a show as you're going through the ride with really kind of being a real roller coaster. There's no like loops or anything like that, but like
it's kind of like Space Mountain on steroids.
Yeah, like you're chugging through, and so it was a very fun ride.
But it's smooth.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
Like it literally feels like you're flying through space because it's so smooth. Like it's not jerking you around too much. But even in the queue, it's like there were a few different levels of like a pre-show because there was like a room where Glenn Close is like introducing you to like you're gonna go see Xandar. And then there was a room where like, oh no, everything's gone bad. Yeah. And then I think you go get in the queue. I can't remember. Were there two rooms?
There's 3 rooms.
There's 3. What was the one in between? There's the Glenn Close room. Or no, one turns into 2.
Oh, that's right.
Because one is like you go in for a bit and then it shuts down and then a wall goes up.
2 turns into 3.
Yeah, so then a wall goes up and it becomes a bigger room, so it feels like 2 different rooms, but you're in the same area.
Yeah. So the funny thing that Deanna alluded to is that we had done Lightning Lane.
Oh, well, when we got to the park, the ride was shut down.
Yeah.
So we had to wait for it to come back up.
Right. But we had done Lightning Lane, and so they give you like a time slot, and they say come in this time period. But if something happens to the ride during that time period, since you actually have to pay for it, that pass, they refund you.
Or at least they did for me. I don't know if that was a fluke or what.
I think that's pretty common. I think I've seen stuff like that before.
The ride went down.
Like literally as we were like on the bus on our way over.
Yeah.
And so, but when they do that, they also give you a return at any time and ride the ride again. And so we went and walked around Epcot a little bit. The ride came back up, so we went and rode it. then Deanna checked the app, and it turned out that because
It let me buy it again.
Yeah, because they had canceled the one that we paid for. Usually you can only buy it once a day. But because they'd canceled that one and given us the anytime ride, she was able to just immediately rebook it. So we rode it twice within like 15 minutes of each other.
Yeah, and I think that helped with the low crowds, because if it was a crazy day, that booking window would probably be late in the evening.
Yeah.
But because the crowds were so low, I could book it for right then.
Yeah.
Because most people are using the virtual queue or maybe some lightning lanes. But yeah, so the window for the lightning lane was right then. So I was like, oh, we can ride it right now.
Yeah, it was a very cool coincidence. And so we also went and checked out the merch for it. There was some cool like general Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I know Caleb over on the Space Hawk posted a shirt that he picked up. But there wasn't really anything that like jumped out to me. There wasn't. I was hoping for something that was more like the ride themed, whereas a lot of the stuff that they had was either Nova Corps or general Guardians of the Galaxy. And so because of that, like just nothing really jumped out enough to.
Yeah. Like Disney merch, if you're kind of particular about merch, Disney merch is very like kind of all over the place. Yeah. It's like, it's either, I would like this if it was a little more like this and not like this. It's like, you like the idea, but it's like, I don't think I'd ever wear or use that thing.
Yeah.
But.
And then from there, we went and grabbed a snack as part of the Food and Wine Festival. I liked it a lot more than you did.
Yeah, I expected to like it more than I did. It just wasn't quite the flavor profile that I was interested in for some reason. It was like a guava cake.
Yeah, it's like
thing.
A guava, like almost like
a mousse.
Yeah, a mousse, yeah.
Kind of cheesecake situation. I don't know. I expected to like it more because I know a lot of people online had liked it, but I don't know. Just wasn't feeling it for some reason. But that means more for you. Yeah. And then we went back to Hollywood Studios, and we ended up, we were like, we were kind of tired because we'd done like almost a full day's worth of stuff in a few hours. And so I looked online, and there were still some reservations available for the Brown Derby, which is like the signature restaurant in Hollywood Studios. And because of those low crowds, we could just get a reservation. And it's kind of like nice. Like they have things like steak and like fish and things.
We felt very underdressed.
Yeah, and everyone else was too, but
it's kind of just the nature of being in the parks. But like,
yeah, we're in like tank tops and shorts in this fancy white tablecloth restaurant.
Yeah.
But it's based off of the restaurant is based off of the Brown Derby that was in Hollywood that they'd actually. It's almost like looks a lot like it, and they actually took a lot of the photos because that place had like caricatures of celebrities that would that would go there, and they actually salvaged a lot of those pictures and are in this Hollywood Brown Derby. I forget what we had. I had some sort of I had short rib. We split the short rib, and we got a charcuterie board, and we got the baked Alaska because we kind of split. An appetizer, entree, and a dessert. And then they also had bread and stuff. Which that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more than like Space 220 from when we had gone there on our last trip.
Better than Space 220. Yeah.
We had a very good wait staff. And so.
Yeah. I really liked it. It was also nice to just sit down in air conditioning and not be sweaty for a bit.
Yes.
And just kind of take a break. And I think there was like a storm coming in, so I think we wanted to kind of hunker down somewhere in case it got bad. I think it ended up not being crazy. It rained a little bit on us later, but it wasn't anything insane. But yeah, so that was kind of a nice little random thing that we did. And we did some shopping. And then...
What did we buy?
Oh. You mean this?
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
You see? What is that symbol?
I don't know. What could that be?
What could this be? Let's see if it's rolled around. Bum ba da bum.
Sorry,
whose lightsaber is that? This, it's not all the way put together, is Cal Kestis' lightsaber from Jedi Fallen Order. It's a bit chunkier than in the game, but it's the same design and everything. It's chunkier because it has to be.
Yeah, for the inner workings.
Yeah, let me put it together.
And so this is what they call a legacy lightsaber. And so they have a whole bunch of these. And so these are the, like, basically replicas of actual like characters compared to last time when we did this. Deanna went and created a custom lightsaber.
My own lightsaber.
So that's also something that you can do in Galaxy's Edge. And so this time,
This is an experience. You just walk up and buy them.
yeah. And so because this, because we both love Jedi Fallen Order, and because of them adding this in, it was just a very cool experience to go, and we wanted to make sure that we picked this up. This got added after our previous trip, so like we couldn't have bought this
Yeah.
when we went originally.
They announced it somewhere sometime like in the spring.
And so
oh yeah.
Chunk says, "No way, it's a lightsaber. I never would have guessed that." And so
I don't have a problem. I can stop.
I can
whenever
stop
I want.
anytime. I can stop once I get all the lightsabers at any time.
It made a sound. And so, yeah, here's a close up.
And so it does have this is what Deanna was putting on at the end. It does have the broken back end.
And it also has an attachment if you wanted to buy 2 of these, which I was like, no, we're not at that budget. And so you can attach and have the double bladed one.
Yeah.
And then, I don't remember which side it's on. I think it's this one. Nope, it's this side. Nope, it's this side.
Try going the other way. There we go.
That was harder than it needed to be. But it's only blue. You can't change the color.
You might need to stop it. I don't know if they did. But yeah, so it's only, I don't know if the audio came through, but it is only blue. So unlike the game, you can't go through and like customize the color. Or similar to what you can do with the custom lightsabers, where you can choose a crystal and then that color becomes the blade color.
It's definitely very top heavy. Like, it'd be hard. This is more of a show off. Maybe wear with a cosplay or something,
Yeah.
and not so much action. But, and like, I want to display for it, but we're running out of room here for displays.
So we got to figure out a way to do something.
Okay, so
Technical difficulties.
oh, that's what's going on.
Oh, the blade isn't in all the way. That's what's going on.
There you go. So it has a slightly different sound to the other ones. It's like a instead of a like pew. Technical term.
Yeah.
And pew.
Yeah. It's got more woo bang.
I love that it makes the sounds though when you take the blade out of it, because it's like, you know, regular lightsabers you don't take the blade out, but they kind of make it a fun like thing.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to get some sort of display that we can use, or some place that we can go to hang it, or something, so that we can show it off.
We need a new house so we can
Yeah.
show off more of our things instead of it just having to go somewhere for now.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, we'll see.
Yeah. And Chunk asks, how much did it cost?
It was cheaper than the build your own.
Yeah.
It was like $170.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking the lightsaber itself was like $180, and then the blade is a separate purchase.
Yeah.
Or an additional purchase. So like if you didn't want the blade,
Because you maybe have other blades.
yeah, because like all the blades fit each other, like each of the
They
sabers.
fit all of the lightsabers.
And so like we specifically did buy a second blade, but like if we were to go back and buy another saber, we wouldn't necessarily do that.
Yeah, like we have 2 now, so if we bought another hilt, we wouldn't need to buy another.
And they do have different size blades, so like we just bought the same one.
I think we got the medium.
Yeah. But like if you were going to do something, like one of the other legacy sabers is Ahsoka's twin sabers.
Yeah.
And so like if you were going to do that, you could buy the medium blade and a short blade, since hers are different lengths.
Yeah.
And so that is something that you can do.
This box is complicated. Sorry.
Pause for box.
Pause for a box.
And so that is something that you can come and do if you wanted to.
It is nice that they have like this nice little. If you can't display it, you can just put it in.
Put it in the box. Yeah, the box itself is kind of thing. Chunk says you should put it on the wall so it's in the background when you stream. That'd be really cool.
This isn't a wall though.
Yeah.
My area's in the back. We'd have to let.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things that's on our bucket list for. Hopefully, when we move, is to do a bit more of that.
Have a more intentional background.
Right, so that it's not just
Or
this.
an intentional stream room.
Yeah, because like we used to have that a bit. Longtime watchers know that like we flipped the desk around here, so like I'm now looking at what used to be behind me when I streamed, but that setup just wasn't conducive to both of us doing streams, and so
Yeah.
it's much easier to add the second person when we're facing this or having the stuff facing this way.
So we just threw it back, bought a background, and just threw it back there.
Yeah, and so, but then the downside of switching it is now the rest of the room is behind us. So
then also tell them about writing stuff.
And Chunk says, "Gotcha. I want to make my own lightsaber so badly. It is so cool. We did talk about that in our previous video, but so people can go and check that out.
I also randomly got these Star Wars leggings.
Yeah, I also went and bought some Marvel pants, and then realized that they were leggings, and it was not going to be conducive to me wearing them. So I thought they were pajama pants when I picked them up. They were not pajama pants,
No.
It turns out. So I was able to get those returned and stuff like that. But and then what else? What did you say?
We rewrote things
Yeah.
that normally you need a fast pass for that we just walked on.
So because the parks were the number of people in the parks were so low, at this point in the day we were able to re-ride both Rise of Resistance and Millennium Falcon.
We rode Rise of Resistance three times total.
And then we went back and rode Rise of the Resistance again.
Yeah.
Normally,
I thought it was going to close, but
Yeah.
it didn't because it was raining.
Yeah. Normally Rise is about a 2-hour wait. If you go through the actual line. The second time that we went through, they said it was a 25-minute wait. That was generous. It was definitely less than that.
Yeah, like we were probably like, it just took us 10 minutes just to get to the start of the pre-show.
Yeah, and then the second time we went, or the third time we rode it, it was about a 10-minute wait, is what they said. And it ended up being about the same. So that's kind of how we gauged the other one's time. And so, so what's normally would have been 4 hours of line was like pretty much just walk on.
Yeah.
And so like that was super cool.
And it was cool because each time we rode it, we kind of got a slightly different experience. Like the first 2 times we were on different sides. So like in the ride, we were in different areas. The second time we entered on a different side of the ship that you go on, but the track of the ride was the same as the first time we did it. But so it was a slightly different experience after 3 times doing it. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then we got off the last one and it was raining. So everyone was kind of stuck under the awning of because the exit of the ride's outside. So you go in outside, you're inside most of the time, and then you leave outside. And so everyone's having to put their umbrellas and stuff up.
And the third time we rode it, we got to ride it with someone who'd never ridden it before.
They were so cute.
Yeah, it was a couple, and it was both of their first time, so it was kind of fun.
I think the
going
wife
through
was
that.
way more excited about it too than the husband was. She was just being more expressive about it.
Yeah,
She was just
I
like,
mean,
oh my god.
he had the biggest grin on the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was one of those that like Rise of the Resistance is the only roller coaster I've ever been like, or only.
It's not
like,
even a roller
it's
coaster.
not a roller coaster, but like the only ride I've ever been like, hey, there's spoilers for this. Don't talk about it. Go in blind.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely very cool to go in and ride it with someone who had never ridden it before. And so
Rise of the Resistance is the ride we're talking about.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
so the idea of it is that you've joined the Resistance against the First Order because Galaxy's Edge is all set
during kind of the Last Jedi
Yeah.
era.
And so it's
Force Awakens, Last Jedi time
so
frame.
it's all themed for like the new trilogy. And so so you're joining the Resistance against the
First Order.
The First Order. And so it's about you like to go for the name, it's about the Resistance kind of coming together and starting to do stuff. And I don't want to go, like I said, too much into detail. You can definitely go and find spoilers for it.
POVs and stuff.
But like I said, it's kind of the only ride I've ever cared about not giving away spoilers. And so, Chunk, if you want to ping me on Discord, I'll tell you some more about it. I just don't want to put them here just in case somebody wants to go in blind. So
yeah. And then after we rode all the things, we did a little bit of shopping. And then, where did we go, Cameron?
So then Knockout says it's the most complete attraction ever. The queue is amazing on its own, and the story is
It's a whole experience and a ride.
Yeah, and it's so well done. And so then we went to Oga's Cantina again. So we got to do this in February. And so we went back. We closed it down.
Yes.
I did not realize that they allowed reservations as late as they did.
Like after the park closes at 9 and our reservation was at 9:55.
Yeah. And so we just kind of hung out till then.
Yeah.
And yes, then we went back there. It's kind of, it's a Star Wars themed cantina. you can get food there. You can get drinks.
There's not a lot of food. It's mostly just
yeah.
drinks. And a lot of the drinks are kind of like tiki drinks, so they're like on the sweet side. You're not going to find your like old-fashioned gin and tonic
which is right up my alley.
Yeah, it's perfect for us.
So,
it's like kind of like fruity margaritas and like a peach, like pina colada. It's not a pina colada, but it's like a peachy drink. And And
so,
before we went there, though, because it's August themed, I found in a little shop they had coasters that are just like the coasters that you get at Oga's Cantina, but they're wooden. So these are the wooden ones.
And then these are like the real ones. Like they actually give you these, and they give you some when you check out. So
like that's kind of the logo of the.
Yeah, and so these are like, so we got some like actual wooden ones.
And that's DJ Rex.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like these because then you can actually use them. I love Star Wars like bar and drink stuff because R2-D2 served drinks.
Yeah. And so that was really fun. It wasn't really anything new in the sense that like we had gone in February and they hadn't really like.
Except the last 2 times I've been, they put us in standing room only. And the first time I went, I got to sit.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to sit. It's been a long day. Sorry.
And then.
I got this too.
Oh yeah, and so at one of the
drinks.
One of the drinks you can order. You can order it with a like special cup, and then they give you a cup when you leave. And so Deanna picked that up.
It's called the Yub Nub or something.
Yeah, and all the drinks are of course like Star Wars themed, and so there's some really cool stuff going on.
But it came in this, but then they give you a wrapped up one.
Yeah.
So.
But it's all like.
It's like Endor, the Battle of Endor.
So it's all.
It looks like a relic though.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi style.
The little Ewoks.
And so you got X-wings and TIE fighters fighting the Death Star. Yeah.
And the little speeder bike. There's a lot of little Easter eggs on it. But my friend got it in the October trip that I went on, and and then I went to her house and I saw that she had it like on display, and I'm like, I should have got that when I was there. So I went and got it.
Yeah, it was very cool. The drink was good too, which always helps.
The drink wasn't my favorite of the Oga's Cantina drinks, but I wanted the cup. But I think my favorite drink at Oga's Cantina is the Outer Rim.
The Outer Rim is very good.
It's like a fruity margarita with like this cool foam stuff on it.
And then.
But that's all the Star Wars stuff that we got.
Yeah. And so the next day, like I said, we shut down Oga's Cantina because our reservation was so late. They actually like escorted us out of the park.
Yeah.
Or out of specific.
Oh God.
That got us. 1 second. Our Echo just like turned on and freaked us out.
I thought someone was talking to me. I thought somebody had broken in and someone was talking to me and they'd come in that way.
That was scary.
She's possessed. It's scared her.
And so, but yeah, so they closed us, or we closed it down. They kind of walked us out. Walked us out of Galaxy's Edge and stuff. Can you buy tickets to individual parks? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And you can also get
it's called
Park
a base. Hopper. So there's a base ticket, which means you can go to any park, but you just have to, you can only be in that one park that day. And then there's a park hopper ticket, which means you can, at least right now after 2 p.m., you can go to any of the other parks. So we had park hoppers, and I had my annual pass, so that includes park hopping. But which sadly I'm not going to be renewing it because we need to go other places. Which is also why we've been so often recently, is because I got the annual pass because of all these plans. But yeah, so the park hopper means you can hop around to the 4 different parks. But if you only want to do 1 park per day, just get a base ticket.
Yeah. And so it's like you
cheaper.
You don't like technically buy like a Hollywood Studios ticket. You just buy a basic ticket, then make your reservation
just a Disney World park ticket,
and then Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, and you can't right now because of the reservation system. You reserve where you're gonna go, which you can change last minute if the parks are still available. But yeah, you don't buy like an Epcot ticket or Magic Kingdom ticket or whatever. You just buy for the number of days you want to be in the parks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I guess we should also say part of going on the cruise is that we had to take a COVID test.
Oh yeah,
and
we did that.
We'd actually done that after the Halloween party.
Late at night.
Yeah, it was kind of like.
It was in our 2-day window.
Yeah, it was like that. It was the first time I've had to take a COVID test where I was like anxious about the results.
Yeah. We can't get on the ship.
Yeah, because we couldn't go on the cruise if we tested positive for COVID. And so we did that. We both tested negative, which is obviously great considering we were at Disney.
Yeah, surrounded by people and had gotten on a plane.
And so that was a big thing. And so at this point, we already knew we were tested negative and we were fine, but just wanted to call that out. That is something that if you're going on a cruise, at least currently, you do have to do.
Yeah, I think
so
they're
just be
changing
aware.
it, but it could come back anytime.
Yeah. And so you can do it at the port, but we specifically wanted to do it ahead of time.
Yeah, so Chunk doing that, you just get a regular ticket and then just do Hollywood Studios because that's where Galaxy's Edge is. It's within Hollywood Studios, the park.
And something that's really cool on that is that when you're actually in Galaxy's Edge, they call it Black Spire Outpost, and so which is what my hat is.
Yeah, that's the name
so,
of the area of the planet Batu that you're visiting.
Yeah, and so you'll only see it referred to as Galaxy's Edge when you're outside of that area.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a really cool, it gives them like a great opportunity for theming.
And immersion.
Yeah, because the idea is that we talked about it earlier with the other parks reaction that we were doing. Like when you walk into Galaxy's Edge, you like go through this tunnel, and then you come out and you're in this new area. And so it's really cool that like once you cross that threshold, you are on Batu. Like that's the theming. That's how everyone, from a cast standpoint, they all talk about it differently. You can't ask them where.
They have like a different language. It's like bright suns and.
Yeah, they call it credits.
Till the spire.
They say credits instead of dollars.
Yeah.
And like stuff like that. Like it's very intentional theming. There we go. And so that's really cool. And then, like I said, from a merch standpoint, it kind of gives you a cool dichotomy where you can, if you want specifically Galaxy's Edge stuff, you have to shop outside of that area. But if you want...
And if you want Star Wars stuff, you need to be like over by Star Tours or another section of the park because nothing in Galaxy's Edge says Star Wars because... Why would it if you're in it?
They're living the Star Wars.
Yeah, they are in. So everything in there says like Black Spire Outpost or Batu or something like that.
We actually had a time. It was one of our lines for Rise of the Resistance, where it was like a kid was talking to the cast member about Star Wars, and he was like, "Why are your stars at war?" Like that seems like it would be and so like they kind of
act like they don't know what you're talking about.
They go to like that degree to kind of like make it so it's immersive once you cross that threshold, and so it's really cool. Again, I know we talked about that in our February recap, which I don't mean to just keep like pulling everything back to hey, go watch our February recap.
Yeah.
But it's very cool to kind of get in and get to experience that.
It was nice getting to experience Galaxy's Edge when it wasn't
insanely
super crowded. Yeah. It was hot, but it didn't matter because there's still room to go where it was air conditioned.
Chunk says, I think I'm going to start planning a trip for my 40th birthday.
I can help.
Do it. Yeah, Deanna would gladly help
start
you
budgeting
talk through
now.
That. Yeah. And so there's so much cool stuff there. And so that was our first like real park day. So then the next day we did we
went to Magic Kingdom in the morning.
Yeah, so we started in Magic. Oh, and actually I'll say we did ride Star Tours.
We did ride Star Tours.
And so that's always like a fun classic.
I love that ride. That takes me back.
And so, so then we started at Magic Kingdom. We'd already done a lot of the rides. So like the big thing that we hadn't done was go back and ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
We ended up just buying a thing because we wanted to sleep in a little bit more. We didn't want to rope drop. We still rope dropped.
We're still there pretty early.
But we were kind of like late rope droppers.
Yeah. And for people that may not know, the idea of rope drop is getting there as soon as you can get in. So basically, you basically choose a place where you rush and get in line for that one thing. And so if you follow...
the first ones in line of the day.
So like if you follow Disney TikTokers or anything, Disney social media, like influencer people, there was a big thing when the Cal Kestis lightsaber came out, where people were trying to rope drop. And you don't run in the parks, of course, because danger. But there was like a bunch of videos of people being like power walking to go get in line so that they could go buy the Cal Kestis Legacy Saber. And so, but yeah, so we did that. We did Haunted Mansion again. Did we do Pirates another time?
Yeah, I think we did Pirates again.
Okay.
We did Big Thunder again. We did Buzz Lightyear. We watched the Festival Fantasy Parade.
Oh, and that parade was super cool.
Yeah.
One of the things that they had was a like steampunk Maleficent as
It
a
was
dragon.
Yeah.
And so
it breathed fire.
It was super cool. I'd never seen them do something like that before from like the parades that I had seen. So it was really cool to kind of see them have this like different take on the character. Kind of steampunky, mechanical. It was very cool to see them kind of do a twist on their own characters.
Oh, and we did People Mover and Space Mountain. I didn't get stuck on People Mover this time.
Yeah. And so People Mover is like
I think a little tram.
Yeah, calling it a ride is a bit of a stretch, but yeah, it's a tram that takes you around the park and kind of shows off kind of some of the intention.
It's just Tomorrowland.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just Tomorrowland. And so it takes you through like the back of Space Mountain, and so you kind of get to see some of that. And so that was.
We also did Little Mermaid. And I think we did Haunted Mansion again, like you said.
We did not do Splash Mountain either of the times. I said this during our other stream earlier today. I don't like doing water rides if I'm not in a swimsuit. Yeah. And so that we could just sort of like, nah, we're going to not ride this.
Yeah.
And so.
And then I think we did the parade. We did Buzz Lightyear, and then I think we went and rode Haunted Mansion. And then I think around that time was when we were like, we did everything. We had cheeseburger spring rolls. Those were yummy.
Those were very good.
You had like a pastrami one.
Yeah.
And then we were it was weird being at Magic Kingdom and being like, well, I think we did almost everything. Like, we obviously didn't do everything in the park, but we did all the rides we wanted to do.
The stuff that we had wanted to do.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff I had done previously on other trips. So, like eating at various places. And then we went back to Epcot to ride Guardians again.
Yeah.
And we took the monorail over there.
Yeah, monorail's a lot of fun. I mean, it's like a classic mode of transportation around, but
it's a cool way to see because it goes like kind of along highways, but you kind of get to see more areas.
And it's also nice to not like really have to leave. Like, you don't have to go back through security.
Yeah,
and so
that was nice not having to do security again.
Once you're in the park, if you can get to the monorail, you don't have to go back through
I think all the other transportation you have to go back through security, but the monorail's like all internal, so that's nice. And then we didn't even talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, the songs we got. So the songs we got the first day were Conga and I Ran So Far, whatever the name of that song is. And then on the 1st of September, we got the song September. So that was really fun. I like the September one because that's just a party song to me. But it was still amazing. I think we only did that. And we kind of shopped like a tiny bit, but we just kind of popped in to ride Guardians and...
Yeah, and Chunk says songs, question mark. Yeah, we didn't talk about this on the previous one, but every time you ride Guardians, there's a chance of getting a different song for the ride.
Yeah, so like Star-Lord's playing. He's like, we can get this done by the time one of the songs on my Awesome Mix or whatever is done. So
yeah, and so the idea is that kind of like, I mean, similar to the theming from the movies, it's like, this is the song that they're playing as they're fighting the bad guy in like the epic fight montage. And so...
and I think there's 4 to 6 different songs or something like that you can get. There's at least 4. I think, but so each time you ride it, you might get a different kind of slightly different experience with a different song.
Yeah, so we had 3 different ones, which was pretty lucky that we rode it 3 times and every time got a different song.
Yeah, I was expecting to get a repeat on the 3rd one, but we didn't.
And it's a good piece of theming. Like, that obviously ties so much in with like what we as like MCU fans associate with Guardians of the Galaxy. And so
and then I think we are again like, well, that's all of Epcot we wanted to see. We weren't really into seeing World Showcase again because it's kind of the same.
And World Showcase, like in Food and Wine Festival as a whole, there's a lot of really cool stuff there, but there's a whole lot of walking you have to do to get to all of those places, and we just kind of wanted to do other stuff since we'd seen a lot of World Showcase in our previous trip. We didn't necessarily feel the need to go back to all of the different countries. And so there wasn't really any food that was like super calling to us.
It wasn't a big like priority.
And so
then, but I kind of have been going, I kind of want to get back to Animal Kingdom because that's one of my favorite parks. And because they have the Pandora section and everything. I kind of wanted to eat at the Pandora restaurant again.
Mm-hmm.
So we went over there, and also when we were there last, the Everest ride was down.
Yeah,
and
so I didn't get to ride it.
You hadn't ridden it, so it reopened. So we waited a very long time for a bus.
Yeah, that bus, like,
took forever.
Yeah.
But it didn't really matter in the end because we ended up turning in early that day anyway. And then we rode Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom, then Dinosaur, and then we went over to Pandora. And the wait for Flight of Passage, the Avatar Banshee ride, was like way shorter than I've ever seen it when I've been there. So like we didn't even need a fast pass. It was still like 20-30 minutes or something. But
it does say something where that was like the longest wait that we had on our trip.
Yeah.
Was like about 30 minutes.
Which is not bad at all. That's kind of average.
Yeah. That would be a quick wait a lot of other times of the year.
Yeah, and that's the most popular ride in the park, apart from like the safaris. And then, so we did that. We get to see more of the queue too in the normal queue, other than the fast pass queue. And then we went and ate at Satuli Canteen. Had cheeseburger pods. They're like cheeseburger bao. Mm-hmm. Those are really yummy.
Yeah, those are very good. We'd had those previously, and it was definitely something that we both wanted to go back and have again.
Yeah. And then we used the fast pass on it, but we didn't even need it because it was a 5-minute wait for the safari. And I was kind of like, it was kind of starting to rain. And so that I was hoping, because it was cooling off, like maybe some of the animals would come out and kind of be out instead of just like, it's too hot, we don't want to be doing anything. And some of them were. Like, some of the animals were more active than
we had a really good showing.
We got really close to some rhinos. Like, I was so shocked at how close we were to some of the rhinos. And the baby rhino.
Yeah.
And also, a storm was kind of rolling in the distance. So, at one point, we saw, like, lightning and heard thunder while we were, like, out on the, like, African savanna. So, that was really cool. But, yeah, I love doing the safaris. Because it's the same but also different every time you ride it. But that was like a walk-on. Like, we immediately got on, and they didn't even fill up the truck before they left. They're like, this is
good enough.
Yeah. So. And then at that point we were kind of like, well, the park's going to close in like an hour, but we've already done everything, and we're exhausted, and we also needed to kind of pack for the cruise.
Yeah, we could have park hopped back to do one of the other parks. We had discussed going back to Hollywood just so that we could hit all 4 parks in one day.
Yeah.
But we decided, that we didn't have to get up.
Exhausted because we did so much.
Yeah. Which is a crazy place to be, especially after our previous trip, where for that one, it felt like we really didn't get to do nearly as much as we wanted to do.
But this, we did everything on our list in 2 days.
Yeah. And so,
and then some.
Yeah. And then some of them, multiple times. And so.
Yeah.
And then, we had an early morning the next day with getting picked up for the cruise. And so we decided to just go back and pack and get ready for that.
I think one thing, if we hadn't have eaten at Animal Kingdom, it would have been cool to, like, get a dinner reservation at a resort or something. Like, that would have been really fun to, like, have another random experience. But there's also, like, more time spent.
Yeah. And
I wanted to get back to kind of relax a little bit and pack, because we needed to put all our stuff back to figure out how to get it to the ship. So.
And from that, we went to bed, got up the next day, got up, and they like put our luggage out and stuff like that, or it was in our room, but put our luggage aside, and then went and hung out in the lobby until the bus arrived.
And we walked over to the neighboring resort.
Oh, that's right. We went and rocked around.
We did a little walk around the resort.
That's right.
And had breakfast. And then we waited for the bus to pick us up to take us to the cruise terminal at Port Canaveral, which is like an hour.
It's like an hour away.
40, like about an hour. And we stopped at a couple other resorts on the way out. But we're on a little charter bus.
Originally, we thought there might have been a rocket launch while we were on the trip. That ended up, it was supposed to be the day that we left. On the cruise, and then that got delayed, and then they ended up canceling it the next day.
Yeah, so we were hoping to see a rocket launch, but it didn't happen. But we get to Port Canaveral, and it's really cool going on a Disney cruise out of Port Canaveral because they have their own cruise terminal. So you're doing, like, everything is Disney once you get there, instead of, like, the other cruise terminals is kind of just like an airport. Yeah. But this one is, like, they have, like, Disney advertising and some Disney theming around, so that was really cute. And they had like a little observation deck where you could go out and take pictures of the ship while you're waiting.
And then so we were on the Disney Wish, which is their brand new ship. We did just get the announcement of the Disney Treasure.
Coming D23.
But yeah, so we got to ride that, and the ship's only like 4 months old in terms of like actually being in use. And so like some of the people that we had, like the cast members that we had, they said that they'd only been on the ship for like less than a month.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of crazy to think about, like, again, just kind of how new it was.
Yeah, and you could kind of tell that it had a few kinks that needed to work out because it was so new, but nothing to ruin it or anything. But it was enough to go, I think they're still working a few things out. People are still kind of getting used to this new situation.
So we got on, came into the Grand Hall. They had a kind of a nice like show as you come in. They announce you. Kind of like if you're going to a fancy dinner.
And there's like a different prince or princess or two or a couple that's like up in the little balcony. And when we walked on, it was Flynn and Rapunzel. So I thought that was really cute that they're like waving everybody in. And then I like see the Grand Hall and then start crying. I'm like, Cameron's like, we're trying to find stuff. And I'm just like,
I'm so excited.
It was the first time ever on a Disney ship. It was beautiful and magical. I was just like, I lost it.
And so from there we went and walked to like the kids area because they had like an open house, so you could go and walk around and look at it. Normally that's not a place that we would have been allowed to go. But we wanted to go and see what all that looked like, and it was super cool.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like being a kid and going through all of this and having this whole area.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of different themed areas, and
they had like a fairy tale hall that was like a bunch of different princesses. So you could do like crafts and stuff, and then they had a whole Star Wars area. It was like the cargo bay. It looked like something from Galaxy's Edge. I'm just like, how do these kids get to hang out here? I want to hang out in here.
Yeah. Then they had a Marvel area where they actually had some like a Captain America costume and a Black Widow costume. So like that was super cool.
Like on display.
Yeah, on display.
I think they had a thing where you could design your own costume.
Yeah. And so that all it was like super cool to go into and get to check that out. And kind of just get to see like the art that they had on the walls for that and leading up to that area. All of that was super cool. And
our room was really close to that area, so it kind of taunted us. Like, the kids are having fun.
They're having so much fun near us.
But our room was really close to there. And our room wasn't far from the main hall either, just because of how the layout of the ship was.
And then one of the things, from there we went and watched, like, the welcome on board thing.
The sail away party.
Yeah, which was a very cool party. They have kind of what...
It's cried again.
Yeah, they have, like, their entertainment team, who are the people that run a lot of the events. And so they came out and kind of did an intro, and then they had like a bunch of the Disney characters come out. You had your classics because Minnie is the captain of the ship, but then most of the Fat Five are all there as well. And then they also had a bunch of the princes and princesses, and then Moana, who doesn't need no man. And so
she's helping us find our way.
Yeah, and so that was really cool. And then. What else? One of the big things that we did on this trip is it's called fish extenders. Do you want to talk about that some?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a little secret Santa that you can do. So when you go on a Disney cruise, somebody, I don't know if they're travel agents or who sets these up, but their Facebook page is for your specific cruise. Like ours is like Disney Wish September 2nd to September 4th. And so like we were in that Facebook group, and somebody organizes it, and they do like a Google like spreadsheet things like, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to be in an exchange with adults only? Do you want to do like one for families? There are some groups that they're only exchanging Christmas ornaments. There are some that are only exchanging shot glasses, and some were also doing magnets or something. So like you can kind of pick, and it's like a little secret Santa where you get like a list of different staterooms and who's like in those staterooms, like their name, their like what their favorite characters are and things. And then you just get like cheap little gifts for them, and you do like exchanges. It seems like we had, I don't know if it was like I think one family gave one gift for the whole cruise. We kind of did like little small ones for each day. So and definitely with what some other people did, which we'll show you, like I have ideas for like the next time we do it.
Because we did pins for everyone based on what their favorite character was, or favorite IP. If we could, I think we did find favorite character for all of them. So we did that, and then we went to like one of the candy shops at Disney Springs and got lollipops. And
like Mickey lollipops.
So the first day of the cruise, we gave everybody their pin, and then the second day, we gave everybody their lollipop. And you just have a thing that you hang outside your door.
It's kind of like little hanging pockets.
Yeah.
Almost like a little door organizer type situation. And I made ours that had just 2 pockets with our names on it. Mm-hmm. And the fish extender, so it's called that because on the old Disney ships, there's like a little fish-shaped hook that's outside your door that the attendants will use to like put your key and stuff on. And then, so people have been hanging these on that little clip. So that's why, but ours was a little Cinderella carriage on this ship. So I think they're all different themes on the different levels, but yeah, we got a few different things. But do we want to talk about that, or do we want to, I guess what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Then we'll talk through the shows and kind of stuff like that. We'll end with it. So,
So one of the things we got were these like bags. So I got one that says Wish. Mm-hmm. So definitely some people have a Cricut or a friend who has a Cricut that they can make custom stickers and stuff. And I also got this little baggie. So like people are probably buying these things in bulk.
Yeah, it's like here's some more, like kind of just like a clothes basket, like a water thing.
Yeah, and this actually says like who gave it to us.
Yeah.
And it has like from these people. So it's one of those things like, oh, I should have done something like that. But we also don't have a printer.
We got like a personalized little cups with our names on them, stuff like that.
Sorry, I'm making crinkles. And
this was kind of our, again, like we didn't really do a ton of shopping, but here's like a little koozie that we got.
I don't know how people did it. This is like a Christmas ornament that's really nice.
Yeah.
It says Disney Cruise Line. Like, unless they like bought these like or something and just have kept them for a long time.
Yeah. Mathematics says, I wish I could go to Disney World, but it's not like I can just go to California. And that's kind of the trouble is like, especially if you're not.
You definitely have to save up for it and plan for it. Oh, and villains playing cards.
Yeah. So like if it's something, especially for like if it's not even in your home country, like that's kind of where we're at with going to like Paris and stuff like that.
Yeah, like international travels where we're like how like I know how to plan a Disney trip and how to like maximize that, but I don't know the first thing about internationally traveling. And then this thing, I won't open it, but there's like a little jar of sand in there, and then a luggage tag, and then there's like a little magnet that's like a little bottle cap. And then here's my little cup that someone gave me. They gave me pink. They don't know I don't like pink, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's the thought that counts.
Oh, that's another thing that they would do on the ships. And this one, you could tell these people are environmentalists because they gave us like, this is a little reusable straw that's like folded up in here. And then there's like a little water thing, and this thing, they have like a little Pop-It.
Yeah, not Pop Sockets.
I think it's called Pop-It. What is this one? Oh, and then this was like a little phone case.
Yeah, so you can like take it in the water.
I think there's like a pink one and a blue one. Again, gendered colors, but whatever. And I got this little like pouch.
It's a little like purse thing.
Like, how are they? Where are they finding this? Are they making these? I don't know, but that'd be a cute clutch to take like on a Disney cruise. That like if you needed to carry stuff around. Socks. But actually, it was really nice. These are like little earplugs for swimming, or nose plugs or something. Oh, and that was a buy.
Oh yeah. And so we also picked up this Disney Wish pin, kind of in partnership with Make-A-Wish, and so that was really cool.
Yeah.
So this is another one for the pin board, but yeah, it's a really cool. That was the like I wanted something for the trip, for the ship itself.
And speaking of pins and magnets, we also got it says inaugural sailings on it at the top.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of merch also on the ship that I really wanted because I kept mentioning it while we were there. Put that over there. We had a lot of stuff where I was like, I would like this if it was a normal t-shirt. Like, I like this design, but it's got weird ruffles or like ties on it. I'm like, it's not a normal shirt. So, but it was actually really nice having this bag that gifted to us because we actually used this as like our beach bag because I didn't really have a good beach bag. Because I meant to buy like a tote bag, but I didn't get it. So this was kind of a nice happenstance that we got this little tote bag. So we use that for like our like beach stuff.
Yep.
And then this, I'll get it out, was something that I'd heard about on the Facebook page, because you get a lot of information on the Facebook page. I found in one of the elevators this little guy, a little ducky, and it came in this thing, and it says, "Keep or hide, you decide, but not in pools, hot tubs, or shops, please. Disney Wish 9 to September 2nd through September 5th, the Arbuckles of Beaufort, Beaufort, South Carolina." So some families have ordered or like a bunch of little duckies like this is a keychain. I saw like actual like little rubber duckies or different things like that. And so these families will hide these around the ship in places. Like this one was just like hanging on the railing like that in the elevator, and I saw it. I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's one of the rubber ducky or the duckies that people are hiding around the ship for people to find." So it's like a little Easter egg.
Yeah, little like
nobody knows
hunt.
where they are. It's just happen upon a duck, and you can either re-hide it or keep it. So I kept wondering, like, what does the staff do if they find all these ducks?
They just like leave it alone, or what's the actual thing?
Yeah. So I thought that was random because I'd heard about people doing that, but then I just saw one at random, and I was like, "I'm keeping him."
Yeah.
So that was cute.
Yep.
Oh, something we also didn't mention about merch that we got in the resort was we got a set of magnets that are like Tiana, because for Port Orleans French Quarter. I wanted it mostly for the beignet and this one right here, because that kind of looks like the resort. So, and it was the only magnets they had. I also got like an H2O product, which came with this cool little waste bag. And because this company's going away, it's they're like cosmetic. It's like they're like soap line and stuff. So I was kind of like, this is gonna be a relic at some point. But forgot to mention those two couple things.
Yeah, and so then that's kind of like the general ship, and then from there we kind of got into being on the boat. So kind of just general time to talk. Let's just talk through what we did on the boat itself, and then we can kind of
So I think the first thing we did was we had food. We had like our first lunch at Marceline Market. It was like at their buffet.
Yeah.
Had a lot of shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, which was great. We had a lot on the boat. We ate a lot of shrimp and had a lot of charcuterie boards.
Yeah, and I had scallops twice.
That was kind of our theme. And so that's kind of at the
ice cream.
Yeah, at the market, which is like, as Deanna said, is like the buffet. It's not like, they kind of have two different levels of buffet. There's like the buffet that's actually out on like the main outdoor floor, the main deck. Thank you. And so that has like pizza and tacos and stuff like that, ice cream. And so that was really good. I was actually really surprised at how good that stuff was.
The pizza wasn't bad.
And then there's the other side, which was the Marceline Market, which was still a buffet.
Kind of like cafeteria style buffet.
Yeah.
They have random things.
But that one is like inside.
That's where you get your chicken fingers.
Yeah. And so that was really cool to kind of do both of those. They had some good selection. And so that was always that was really nice. Even though, granted, we did just eat a lot of shrimp and charcuterie boards. But
honestly, like one of my favorite things about cruising is just all the food that's just available to you at all times. I'm just like, I could just eat all day.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, but I'll do it.
I'll do it. Tell me I won't.
We also settled into our room that we had a really pretty mural of the Cinderella Castle from the movie. And it had sparkles on it that I was obsessed with. And we had like an ocean view room, so we had like a little circular window. And the bed was really, really comfy. And they had a big TV. Like, we watched a couple of movies on it because we could. And the bed was super comfy. I was like, I want this in my house.
I think we watched Ant-Man and Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, because they had a bunch of Disney movies on demand. Yeah. And then
and Chat Mathematics says something that'll tie us into one of our next things. I love how they included a shawarma palace at the Marvel Park, just like the OG Avengers.
Yeah, the shawarma stand at the Avengers campus.
And so one of the things that they have every night, there's a rotation of 3 different restaurants. And so the first one that we went to was Avengers themed, specifically like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Worlds of Marvel was the name of it.
And so, like, that was really cool. You kind of get a show with Ant-Man and the Wasp. And so, like, that was really fun. it was our like least favorite food out of the 3 restaurants.
Yeah. What did I have? I think I
don't
had a
even
scallop pasta thing.
Yeah, I think I had a steak of some kind that was overcooked for what I ordered.
Yeah,
but,
and we also were served really late. I think we were kind of like in the back, but the entertainment was really cool. They had like the videos on the screens had cameos from like Miss Marvel and Captain America Sam, and of course Ant-Man and the Wasp.
They're like protecting the ship from Ultron bots, and from Ultron. But, so that was really cool. We had a great table. So that really helped because you don't have to eat dinner in these places every time, but it is really cool that you get to kind of have that choice that like you can have these more like classier restaurants if you want, and then with that it really helps to have a great table, and so because you kind of get the table. They were tables of 6, and so you in our case, since we were a party of 2, we got put with 4 other people.
And I wonder if they check your demographics kind of because we were sat with 2 other childless millennial couples.
Yeah.
Like, generally probably somewhere in their 20s and 30s. Like, it was kind of interesting that we were with similar people who were just cruising with just their significant other.
Right.
But it was really fun because, like, we're obviously all into Disney. One of the other couples was, like, moved to Orlando recently, and so they're, like, park locals. And I think the other couples from South Carolina or something, like, they could drive there. And so that was a lot of fun. And a few of them, one of them, it was like her first time on a cruise, or maybe it was one of the couple's first time on a cruise, on a Disney cruise as well. So that was a lot of fun. Another thing we did the first day was your experience, it wasn't great, but mine was fun, was we did the salon. So they had a Captain Hook themed barbershop that unfortunately, like, it was really cool theming, but unfortunately they didn't do a very good job shaving your head, which is
it was the most disappointing and really the only disappointing part of the cruise for me, and most of it was
you didn't get your money's worth.
It was a lot of people following the rules, which, like, I mean, no fault to them, but basically we had like a 30-minute appointment, and so I could choose to either have them cut my hair or trim my beard, but like those don't take 30 minutes. You kind of wanted both of those things I wanted both of those done. And so I actually still need to go get my beard cut because I chose to have them shave my head. I thought we were going to have both done. And then because, like, I don't need my hair styled or anything, I just needed them to shave it. It only took like 10 minutes. And then it was like, but you won't shave my beard in the other 20 minutes of my appointment.
Yeah.
And then it's like a flat rate that they charge you. And so it was just really expensive relative to being a 10-minute thing. And then because you're on a boat, they're not going to like use a straight razor. And so they just kind of trimmed it with an electric razor, which isn't even that close of a shave.
Yeah. Or they didn't have people trained to do that. Yeah.
And so it was just one of those things that was like super disappointing. Because
I wonder if it was a staffing thing and also just it being new.
Yeah.
Like if they're just still kind of figuring stuff out, because it seemed very much like they didn't know what to do. Yeah. And when it should have been just kind of like a full service barbershop.
Right.
But yeah, so that was a little weird.
Yeah. And I would have liked it if it's like, hey, this is what I would like for you to do, and they say, hey, we can make that work in your 30-minute window or not.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, well, you can come back and book to get your beard trimmed, and I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, it was really the only time, again, on the cruise or as on the trip as a whole, that I really felt like I would not want to do this ever again.
Yeah.
And then kind of juxtaposed, you went to the Tangled salon.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get my hair cut anyway, and they had a Tangled themed salon that's like where they had like you could do manicures and pedicures and get your hair cut and things like that. And I booked, because we toured the spa, which we can talk about briefly in a second. That's where I booked my haircut because I just wanted a basic haircut, and the Scottish lady that cut my hair did a really good job. Because I have low maintenance hair, I was like, just basically trim it, put some layers in it. I can't tell the difference. And it was really nice because like I love having my hair played with for an hour. So it's like it was very much like I had kind of low expectations, but also like she did a good job and she was clearly experienced. So, and my thing with some of the cruise ship salons, a lot of the times they try to sell you stuff afterwards, and I was kind of wary and thinking she was gonna be like, here's all the stuff I used on you, here's how you can buy it, please buy it, because I've had that experience just getting a pedicure on a Carnival ship. And then, but at the end she was like, oh, this is the hair mask I used on you, like, if you get it, you can use it this much, like, this often or whatever. But she didn't, like, try to push it on me, and so I was like, I had a great time. I had my hair clean, hair washed, and my hair played with, and she cut it. So it was super chill. But I'm also a really chill hair client. I'm just like, I don't care. Just cut. I just want it shorter and to look okay. So that was cute. And the theming was really cute because they had, like, kind of, like, golden curtains, like Rapunzel's hair with, like, little flower ties and stuff. So it kind of looked like Rapunzel themed. But anyway, to sign up for that, we toured the spa and the fitness center, which is one of those things, like, if we had been on a longer cruise, maybe I'd do something, like a massage or something, because they had a really nice, like, relaxation area that was, like, partially outside. They had, like, heated stone, like, chair things. They had, like, little showers and a cold room and a sauna. It was just, like, I think usually you can buy a pass and you can go in there all day. But it was definitely, like, really nice in there. And I'm like, this is probably out of my tax bracket, but I really like it in here. So it was definitely cool. I like the first day of the cruise ships, you can tour these places. Like, even if you're not going to pay for it, you can at least go see it. So you can at least see that part of the ship.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I enjoyed the Tingle Salon. He did not enjoy the Hooks Barbary, but that could either be just because of new staff or just the way it's set up or just they didn't have it planned very well. But yeah, so it's kind of, that was kind of the only parts that was a little bit of a disappointment. But still really fun. And then we also, I think the first day, played some trivia that I won.
Yeah, so we did, it was kind of just, I think it was like they said it was like Disney level 1 trivia.
Yeah.
And so we did a lot of trivia on the boat.
This was the prize.
Yeah, they were giving out these like journal things.
Little book.
My dad said I would need so much money if I was going to go. Definitely would have been to make a droid and a lightsaber. Yeah, both of those are super cool.
They are an extreme investment for sure.
And then like even getting the lightsaber on a plane.
That's why we were on a short cruise.
Yeah. We didn't want to have to carry all of our stuff with us. But yeah, so then that was like our first day. You dominated that trivia. And I was there. And so.
But, and that was even just a half day, because, like, the ship left at 4, but we got on the ship at, like, by noon.
Yeah.
Which was crazy to me. I thought we wouldn't be on there that early. But that was a lot of fun. So that was pretty much the first day. I'm trying to think if we did anything else that first night.
Because we didn't do the show.
Right, because that was during our
hair stuff. And so.
And the show that we could have seen was, like, special for the ship, but that's okay.
So that was our first day. The next day we were at Nassau. We ended up not getting off the boat. You had been there previously on another cruise, and I'm not super into all of just like the touristy type stuff, and so
it's not great tourism either.
And so we ended up not getting off. We had talked at one point about maybe going to Atlantis, the aquarium there.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's just pretty expensive
and hard to get to.
And part of the thing about being on the cruise is it's all inclusive within reason. And so, like, if we would have gotten off, we also would have then had to have bought food and done all of this stuff.
Transportation.
And
whereas we can take advantage of all the included stuff on the ship.
So we ended up choosing to stay on. We swam that morning.
Most people did too.
Yeah, it was a very packed. I was surprised at how many people were there.
Everyone was like, "We're not leaving the ship."
Yeah, so we swam. We went to there's like an adult pool area, so like kids can't go there. So we went there very briefly. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, it was kind of small. It was kind of just like a soaking pool. Like you're kind of there to just hang out in the water. It's not really a swimming pool.
But yeah, so like that was pretty fun. It was just, again, there was just so many people there. And I think if we would have been there with a bigger group, like not just us, we might have tried to like
friends.
Yeah, like with friends. We would have carved out more of the pool area and hung out there more. But with it just being us, we just kind of decided that, well, if we're not going to get off for Nassau, we don't specifically want to be here. We'll go do some other stuff on the ship. So we went and rode the Aqua Mouse, which is like a water slide.
Yeah, it's like a water roller coaster on the ship. So it's like it takes you up a little hill like on a conveyor belt, and then you kind of go down and around, and then it shoots water up, and you go. It just kind of goes in like a loop, so
Yeah.
it's really short. But I'm glad we did it then because I think that was probably the shortest wait it was going to be the whole time. It was very cold, the water, but it was really cute because it was kind of like Mickey and Minnie's like Runaway Railway like themed. It was like the new Mickey shorts themed.
That is cool because it's also open at certain parts. So like since we were in Nassau, you could kind of like look out and see the city.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool. And then you went and rode a different slide.
Yeah, there's like in the kids area, there's a Rex from Toy Story themed like slide. It was just a big slide. It didn't go very fast, but I'm like, if I can go on it, I'm going. So I kind of waited in line with a bunch of kids and I went on it. But yeah, it parked at Nassau. We didn't get off the ship in Nassau.
Yeah, so no excursions or any of that.
No. We wanted to stay on the ship where we could eat included food.
There was something there that was like a pirate ship, like an actual ship that they sailed. And so I saw some people talking about that. Apparently that was an excursion you could do.
Yeah, that would have been fun. But that stuff you have to also book ahead of time. Also, since we had a really short cruise, it's like I wanted to see more of the ship and do all the stuff on the ship in that time because I especially never been on a Disney cruise ship. I was like, I'm here for the ship and not for where the ship's going, except for the next day. But, And then, so we swam a little bit and showered.
It was a pretty relaxing day, all things. Like, we really didn't do... Like, we did stuff, but we didn't really do... So we did another trivia.
Pretty much napped.
Yeah. Well, you napped. I watched movies. So at this point, I mentioned it earlier, because the dinner at the Marvel thing was Ant-Man themed, I wanted to rewatch Ant-Man. So she napped. I watched Ant-Man.
I'd seen Ant-Man a few times.
And so that was a lot of fun. And then we did Marvel trivia, I think technically before that.
Well, because they had trivias planned, but they didn't say what they were until you got there.
Yeah, you had to actually go and ask what the theme was.
Yeah, so they did Marvel trivia, which you won. We got another notebook.
Yeah. So that was really cool. It was definitely easy trivia. Some of the trivias were very difficult, but the Marvel one was very easy.
Most of them were easy, and then there was one that was impossible.
Yeah. And so, but this one we had worked together pretty well on. I think I knew a lot of them, but there was like 2 or 3 that you had like locked and loaded. And like the question came, because like one of them was who plays Jarvis. And I was like, I could picture the person in my head, but I couldn't get to their real
Paul
name.
Bettany.
And you were like, oh, it's such and such. It's like, oh yeah. And so like there was stuff like that, but like overall the questions were pretty easy. Like one of them was how many Infinity Stones are there? And so stuff like that, that's not necessarily the most challenging. And so I think
what's the name of this superhero, their real name or whatever.
Yeah. What's Hawkeye's real name? And so there was like, I want to say like 10 teams that all tied with the perfect score for the Marvel trivia. And so then they had us do a thing where one representative from every team came up, and we did I forget the actual name of the game. It's called something, but like where you're in a line and you have to say, they made us say a different MCU or a different Marvel character, and you couldn't repeat one. And so we went through that and did that for a while.
And then there were like 2 or 3 of y'all left. I'm like,
and
okay, y'all win.
Then they called it. And they ended up, I think, giving a prize to everyone that had made it to that point.
Yeah.
But it was really fun to do. I kind of got lucky, and the person before me in a line kept on like kind of struggling to think of something. And so she would like pause to like try to think of something, which really helped me because it meant that I could be ready on my turn.
Yeah.
And so I definitely got lucky there because there were times where after doing, because like I said, it started with about 10 of us. And so by the time that you were getting to like the second or third rotation, you've named a whole lot of the major characters. And so I definitely got kind of lucky there, just in the sense of I got to use the previous person's time to think of my answer. And then as long as they didn't say the one character that I was thinking of, I was good, and I could just kind of listen and make sure I didn't repeat anything.
Yeah, so that was fun. Also, the trivia the previous day, I got a giant drink in the same place.
Oh, yes.
It was like where the trivia for at least these 2 trivia games is in a lounge bar called the Keg and Compass. So it's kind of like Viking seafaring.
It was a very
theme.
cool.
I liked it in there.
Very cool setup.
And I ordered something called the Northern Lights. It sounded cool. I saw that it had like beer on the list. I thought it'd be like a kind of like a mixed like a beer cocktail thing. It comes out on this like wooden structure that has like a horn-shaped glass that's being propped up on it. And I'm just like, what did I order? Because it's like this big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is huge. Because it was mostly like a beer with some mead and things in it. It tasted really good.
Yeah, it was very good.
For a beer, I was like, this is actually a beer I would drink like this.
And
but it just came out and we're like, what is this thing?
Yeah, and I'd ordered some mead and it came in like a little wine glass. And so we kind of just had this funny juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Of
it's like, what
we ordered.
Is this?
And so, yeah, that place, the Keg and Compass, was very cool. It was a great place to do trivia.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. Oh, yeah. I didn't post it online, so I'll have to kind of show it to you, but...
Let's see if it comes
Do you
through.
see?
Yeah. So that is her...
And that's my beer thing.
And my mead in the little wine glass.
See if I'll focus. Yeah.
It
was very intense when it came out. I was like, oh, my goodness.
And Chunk says there are 3,000 Infinity Stones, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all paperweights.
Yeah, and then that evening we also saw the
Little Mermaid
show, which is kind of a retelling. It was more about like her want to be in the human world, not so much focusing on she threw all this away for a man. It was like she always wanted to be human. She never felt like she fit as a mermaid. And so it was kind of focusing more on that aspect of it, which the movie does have in it, but they just kind of make it more about the guy in the movie. But it's like, no, she was already obsessed with humans and collecting human things this whole time. Yeah. She just, needed a kind of the opportune situation to make it happen.
Chunk says Deanna definitely wins. I want her drink.
It was delicious. It was just like good. A lot.
Yeah.
I was like, this is big for my little tummy.
And so, yes, that show was really cool. It was one that they had made specifically for the Disney Wish. So, like, they do have shows on all of the ships, but this one was unique to the Wish.
Yeah,
so that was
a
really
unique
cool.
version of The Little Mermaid.
The cast was very good. They did a great job on it.
Yeah. And then the dinner for that night, I think we did... Oh, that was also the night I did, like, the karaoke thing.
Yeah.
Which that went okay. That's How You Know from Enchanted. Part of it went fine, and part of it I got tripped up because I forgot about the part that the song starts without music, so I didn't know how to know what key I was on or how to say anything. So, but people were really nice, and also the bar was set really low with some of the other children who were singing.
Yeah.
But I did that, and then we got in our pirate outfits.
Because it was pirate night. So part of the reason we wanted to do pirates for...
the Halloween
party is because the cruise ship does a pirate night, and so we knew we could get kind of like a 2-for-1 with bringing the costumes, and so
so we wore the same costumes twice, and we wore our pirate stuff, which a lot of people were kind of like, there were some people who were really dressed up, and some people were just like, I have a pirate T-shirt. So, but I think we had fun with it, and then we ate at the Frozen themed restaurant. It was just called like Arendelle or something.
Yeah. And it's set after the events of Frozen 2.
So it's Kristoff and Anna's engagement party.
Yeah. And
the way the room felt, like you felt like you were in the Arendelle castle, but it also felt like a wedding reception that was Frozen themed.
And it was a bit like of a Ren Fair. Like they had like live music of people like.
Yeah, it was Ren Fairy.
Like people playing or like and singing the songs, but they were doing it kind of differently. Like it wasn't just them. It wasn't like a direct cover. Like one guy was like super good at violin, and so he was out here like busting out like
Into the Unknown on his violin.
It was super cool.
And the characters came out and kind of waved at people and things like that. And the food was better at this one than the Marvel.
The food was good here.
So like I had this scallop dish. It was like in a pot with scallops that was kind of in like some tomato bisque with like a pastry on top, and so it was delicious. And then I had like basically those kind of like Swedish meatballs, which I thought was funny. I was like, it's IKEA food.
IKEA food.
And it was a little dry, but like the flavor was good. And we also got a drink. We both got the drink called the Frozen Fractals, or Frozen Fractal, and it was like a blue colored sparkly. Like I'm not sure what all was in it, but it was just like sweet.
It was very good.
Sparkly and blue, and it had glitter in it. And so that one was really fun. And the entertainment was good because it wasn't like a storyline. It was kind of just like a little concert, kind of like you were at a wedding reception with a live band that just happened to have Disney characters in it.
Right.
It was more chill. The Marvel one, it was almost like you really had to pay attention.
Yeah, there was like a plot.
Yeah, what was going on. So it was kind of hard when people are trying to have a conversation and you wanted to pay attention. So.
And then from there, because it was pirate night, they did a show on the ship, as well as fireworks. And this was really well done. I thought this was a very cool show. The idea is that they had to assemble a bunch of pirate captains so that they could sign
rock
this thing.
The ship.
Yeah, and rock the ship. And so, of course, one of those pirate captains is Jack Sparrow.
He appears like at the end. He like rappels down a rope.
It was really cool.
And yeah, they're playing kind of like 80s music and just like rocking out to it. They had the drummer's name was Bubbles, and they actually had like a bubble machine, but they were smoke-filled bubbles. So like they were flying up around him, but as the bubbles were popping, like smoke would come out. So like that was a really cool effect. It's like it's not just bubbles; they're smoke-filled bubbles.
Yeah.
And then the fireworks were really cool. The only downside about the fireworks on this ship is the slide kind of blocks your view a little bit. So you kind of had to be in a really good spot to see them fully. And I'm not sure where that spot would be because that slide kind of goes up really high. But the fireworks were really well timed. So they played like Pirates of the Caribbean music and stuff. And also, while we were there, we were kind of parked. Like, I guess it's, if you're moving on a ship, then the fireworks are going off behind you. So they have to, like, hold the ship still to do them. But because of that, there was another Disney ship, but I don't know where they had come from, but it was in the distance, that they were also doing their pirate night and fireworks the same night. And so you could see our fireworks and their fireworks going at the same time. So that was kind of a random, like, unique thing to see. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's another Disney ship doing the same thing we're doing. I'm not sure which one it was. Maybe it was the Dream or something, but that was really cool. And then what else did we do for Pirate Night? Did we do anything else that?
It was really
Because it was kind of late. I think we talked about watching Pirates of the Caribbean, but it was really late.
They did do a showing of the first Pirates movie, but it started at like 11:20. And then it was going to be like a 2-hour movie, and so we decided not to do that because we wanted to go to bed and be rested up for the next day.
Castaway Cay.
Yeah, we went to Castaway Cay, which is the private island that the Disney cruises use.
Which we just got announced at D23 that there's going to be another one built.
And so Castaway Cay, exclusive to Disney Cruise Line. So versus Nassau, where if we would have gotten off, we would have had to like pay for food and all of that stuff. Still on Castaway Cay, because you can only get there via cruise ship.
All the
food's still included because they know that you booked a ticket to be
Except
there.
the specialty drinks, but everywhere on the ship that's extra anyway.
Yeah, anytime you have to buy like alcohol or anything crazy. Yeah, and so that was really cool that like our lunch was included.
It's like barbecue food, like hot dogs, hamburgers, barbecue sandwiches, chips.
It wasn't
the cookie was really chocolate chip cookie was yummy.
So on there, you did some snorkeling.
I did a lot of snorkeling. I got sunburned.
I attempted to snorkel. People that don't know me well may not know this. I have some anxiety around being underwater, especially with not being able to breathe, because it turns out I like living. And so I've done some snorkeling before and been fine. But shout out to the barber shop. We think that because they didn't, I couldn't get like my beard trimmed, the face mask wasn't like sealing. And so water kept on getting into my nose.
Well, there's that, and it's like you need all needs to be gone.
Yeah, I would need like a very smooth.
Yeah, it'd have to be like you'd have to have like a Gomez Adams. Mustache.
And so.
Or like some people put balm on it, like Vaseline, but still, it was just not the right situation.
Yeah, and so because of that, water kept on getting into my mask, and I felt like it was getting into my nose, which then was like triggering that for me. And so I ended up just hanging out on shore. I like relaxed in a hammock.
And then I'm like fish and sea obsessed a bit because I think I'm a mermaid in another life. So I was out snorkeling constantly and not knowing what time it was.
Yeah, you were out for a very long time.
Like for him, I'm sure it felt like ages, but for me, I was just like, there's so much to see.
Yeah, and part of that was like there's a lot of really cool stuff in the water. So do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so there was like they had a replica of the Prince Eric statue from The Little Mermaid, like far out. They had a sunken like submarine, like I think it's a legit submarine. There's like fish all hiding in it, like sea urchins. They had a bunch of like little coral reef like starter things. They're kind of like little spheres with like holes in it to kind of encourage like coral growth. And then one of those was like a little spotted eel. I think it was a spotted eel. I saw a big hogfish. I saw some other giant fish. I didn't know what they were. I saw starfish, a stingray kind of went away. They had a sunken Dumbo ride vehicle, like from the actual Dumbo ride. It was just in the water. They had some, like, it looked like the front of a ship. Like, I forget what that's called on the front of a ship, but they had, like, one with Minnie, one with Mickey, and one with, like, Daisy or somebody on the front of it. They had another, like, mini submarine that was sunken. They had Boo's door from Monsters, Inc., which was really random. They had a bunch of random things that they're just, like, we just sunk it in the thing. And a lot of fish. And, like, it was neat because there would be some, like, shallower grassy areas where you could stand up, and then it'd get deeper, like a sandy area. So there was a lot of, like, variation. But I snorkeled a lot. The backs of my legs got a bit burned. Even though I tried to put sunscreen on them, it's still. But, yeah, I was just, like, out there basically being like, I am with my sea friends. I am a mermaid.
You also got a serious mask line.
Yeah, and the pictures is, like, embedded for several hours.
Yeah.
Like, all day I had, like, a line right here.
From just all of the fun that you got to have.
Yeah, and I had to wear a kid's mask because I have a tiny head. I went up to get our snorkel stuff and he handed me a big one. I'm like, that's not going to work. Like, can I have a kid's mask? He hands it to me, I put it on my face. It's like, it's perfect. I have a small face.
And then, I'm trying to think what else. One of the things, we didn't go there because Deanna was snorkeling, but they do have an adults-only portion of the island.
Yeah.
So, like, again, if you're going and you don't have kids and you're not, like, specifically wanting to snorkel, you can go to that portion of the island and get away.
Yeah.
So
my problem, sorry.
Yeah, so, like, that was something, again, like, we didn't get to go do that. I probably could have just walked over there and done it while you were snorkeling, but I didn't. So I just chilled in the water. But that is something that is an option if you're someone that goes and you just want to nope out of that area.
See, my problem is I want to do all the activities that the kids were doing.
Yeah.
So I was snorkeling with the families, you know, because I wanted to see all the fishies. And then I wanted to do the slide because there was, like, a really fun, it's called the Pelican Plunge, like, slide. There's two. There's one that's open that's, I think, slower. And then the faster, like, tube ride. And it dumps you out into some pretty deep ocean water. So that was pretty fun. So I did that real quick. Waited for a little bit for that. And then had lunch and then snorkeled some more. And of course they had ice cream, they had soft serve machines on the island. That was fun. And then a storm started rolling in. And
Chunk asked, how big is the island?
I don't know.
It was a very good size.
A few miles.
Like they had, like, you could actually get on a transit and they would actually, like, bus you around the island. So, like, it was big enough to where, like, you didn't have to walk it if you didn't want to. And so, like, they definitely had some good stuff going there just in terms of, like...
Castaway Cay is 1,000 acres.
1,000 acres, okay. And so, like, not all of that is, like, area that you can go to. Because there's a whole lot that's just kind of, like, basically you stay along the water the whole time. But...
It's a 5K long and 2.2 miles wide. So...
Yeah. So it's a good size. Like, there's definitely a lot going on if you want to... find a place. And
and most of it's just along the beach. Like, there's a few others. There's, like, biking you can do and stuff. So, like, you can kind of bike around. But most of it's just along the beach.
Yeah.
And they had a few other areas and, like, activities people could do. But, yeah, I was just, like, everything I wanted to do was snorkeling. And I did the slide real quick. And then it just happened to be where all the families were. But it wasn't so crowded that...
it wasn't bad.
Like, there's plenty of chairs and stuff available. And then a storm started rolling in, and I think around when I had kind of gotten my fill of snorkeling, a lot of people were starting to leave because there's, like, lightning in the area, and I think near the end people were, like, maybe it was, like, 2 o'clock, people were kind of being, like, I think maybe they said the lifeguards called people in briefly, but, and also I did mention, there's a picture of this on my Facebook, but... when we got off the ship to get to Castaway Cay, there was a rainbow on the other side of the ship, and I was like, that's super magical. You get off and, like, on the other side of the ship, you can see this, like, rainbow. I'm like, this is not real. How is that even possible? But yeah, I really liked Castaway Cay. It was definitely, like, if you like swimming and snorkeling, that's the place for you. But that's kind of all there is, really, is the lunch, swimming, snorkeling. So if you're a beach person, it's a really good beach. The sand was super deep. Like, it was almost hard to walk in some of the sandy areas. But it was super fun. And then we went back to the ship a little bit earlier than we were supposed to because I figured it'd be better to get back earlier and shower before everybody else did.
Yeah. So I think we grabbed a snack, and then we went and saw the next show, which was Aladdin. And Chunk says, Disney making rainbows to make it more magical. Exactly. Yeah. Disney controls the weather. And so,
Yeah, no, I think we played trivia before.
oh,
those
we did
shows.
play trivia. Yeah, you're right.
We almost went to one trivia that turned out to be ESPN Sports, and we are like,
Nope.
bye.
Not for us.
Nope. And then we went to another one. It was like Disney villain quotes.
And this was like intense trivia. Like it was very, like I think this is the one where only like it was like.
We almost won.
Oh, then I'm thinking of a different one.
No, you're thinking of the ultimate trivia. That was the day before.
That was the one I was thinking of. There were like out of like 25 questions, the winner had like 13 12. Or something like yeah. And so that one was crazy. I think I knew like 2 of them. Out of all of them.
It was very, very obscure stuff. It's like, how was anyone supposed to know any of this?
Yeah.
Like more obscure than I would say I know, like obscure stuff.
Yeah. So then we went and saw Aladdin, which again it's a retelling of the story, kind of first stage. It was very good. I definitely enjoyed it.
The genie was as good as always.
It's definitely
making comments.
Yeah, it's definitely shorter. They cut out a good amount of stuff.
Yeah, it's like an hour.
Yeah, they have to make it fit, and then like make it work for stage. So like regretfully, like Abu's not in it. And so, but yeah, it was very good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about that was crazy. I don't really have much else.
I remember one part in the show Genie was freed and they were trying to get his shackles off and they struggled to get them off and they kind of fell on the ground and then Aladdin picks them up and just holds them and then Genie goes, wish a little harder next time.
Yeah, it was a very good like fourth wall break for them having some prop issues.
Yeah,
and so.
Like the Genie was really funny. They made and the Iago even made some fourth wall like kind of relevant comments. But that's all. What's always fun about Aladdin is because even the Broadway shows like that. They make comments.
They get to break stuff like that or break the fourth wall a bit.
But that was really cute. And then I forget if we did something between that and the 1923 dinner.
I don't remember.
I think we did some shopping.
Yeah, I think we did more
wanted
shopping.
to look around at the shops.
Because we went to like the fancier shop places that like we had no intention of buying anything at.
This is stuff that's only open when you're in international waters.
Yeah.
But we walked around those and then went to 1923, which it's kind of Walt and Roy Disney themed with like animation concept art and stuff. It's very small, but this one had the best food out of the three.
The food was very
like our
good.
food, the order of our restaurants, the food got progressively better.
Yeah.
Because you got the filet.
Yeah, I had a filet mignon. That was very good.
And I had like kind of a basic cream pasta that was like, this is hard to mess up, but it was really yummy. And also we had to kind of rush that meal, which was really nice that our server did that. We let her know because we had an interesting reservation coming up at 9:30. So we're like, hey, we want to do dinner and get stuff. But she gave us like the dessert menu and everything up front. So we could just order everything we wanted. And so they brought us stuff out quicker. And so that was really nice. But yeah, there was no show with this one. So that was what's interesting. I feel like the Marvel restaurant was very much, there's a show that you need to pay attention to an extent to get what's going on. And then the next one was kind of like, this is just like live music concert type show. Like a little dinner show. There's no plot. It's just kind of fun show. Yeah. And then the last one had no show. It was just a themed restaurant and with good food. And then you want to talk about the next thing. Yeah,
and so then we'd gotten reservations to the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge, which like Oga's Cantina is kind of, I don't want to say grimy, but it's kind of more themed after the like underbelly.
Smugglers.
That side of Star Wars. Whereas the Hyperspace Lounge is more themed. If you've seen The Last Jedi, kind of like the casino planet that they go to, where it's much more high class. So the idea
this is where the rich people in Star Wars go to have their drinks.
So like the theming is that you're in a ship that's jumping through hyperspace, and then going to all these other planets. And so while you're there, you're seeing all of these ships fly by and stuff like that.
Yeah, we saw what ships did we see in the window?
We saw the Razor Crest.
We saw the Ghost from Rebels.
Yeah, Ghost from Rebels. Bunch of X-wings. The Halcyon, which is the
Star Cruiser.
The Star Cruiser was there.
The Disney Star Wars Hotel. That's a land cruise.
Yeah.
A simulated cruise.
There's a bunch of Star Destroyers. Again, TIE Fighters, TIE Bombers, X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wings, all that kind of stuff. And then the drinks here were definitely very different from Oga's Cantina, which I was kind of glad that it was a completely different experience because we've been to Oga's a few times. Oga's is very much like
kind of your like kind of tropical tiki drink style drinks. This was very much like your old fashions, your like fancy gin drinks and like martini type situation. Like definitely this is where the rich people go to have their drinks. And what was the one you got?
I don't really remember what
it was like cherry-y flavor. It kind of tasted like wedding cake. It was interesting.
It was like a I want to say it was tequila. I don't remember for sure. But it was good. I was kind of in the other boat of I was kind of sad that it wasn't the same menu as Oga's, just since my favorite like drinks are pink.
Yeah, I would have preferred those drinks, but I like that it was a different.
It is cool. That's a different experience. My drink was good. It wasn't. I liked my ones at Oga's more, but it was definitely good. And then you got to have something really cool.
It was not cheap, but I got the Skywalker flight, which, for those of you who don't know, George Lucas on his property Skywalker Ranch has a vineyard where he grows his own grapes to become wine. And so there's a line of wines called like from Skywalker Vineyards. So there's like a Skywalker Pinot Noir and a Rosé, and they don't have like Star Wars imagery on the bottles or anything, but if you Google it, it's like this is wine from George Lucas's estate. But they're all called Skywalker or something. And so I got a flight. It had like a sparkling kind of like champagne style drink, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, a Chardonnay, a Rosé, and a Pinot Noir. And they came in these really cool like wine glasses that had like black stems on it, like they look like spacey wine glasses. And it was delicious, but I wanted to get it because it's like there's nowhere else I'm going to be able to try all of these wines, because you can't visit Skywalker Ranch unless you like have an invitation or a special like ticket that you won somehow. So I was like, I'm going to do this, because you can order their wines online, but they're really expensive, and it's one of those things like I don't want to order them if I don't like them. So, and I think the only place I've seen them where you can try them is at the Disney parks, like at the fancy restaurants, or they had all 4 of the main ones on the ship. So I was like, they're all 4 here, so I'm going to have a little bit of each. And they're all delicious. I actually had the Pinot Noir at dinner prior to that. So I had a lot of George Lucas estate wines that night. But they were delicious. And it was a really cool atmosphere. I loved watching because it makes simulate like the ship jumping to hyperspace. And then you'd see like new scenes every once in a while. But it was cool. It could have had more theming, but I definitely enjoyed being in there for sure.
Yeah. And so they kind of hustled us through. Like, unfortunately, like, I feel like they could have been doing more. Like, they could have had more people in there, but it seemed like they were, like, we basically got to the point where they're like, hey, not to rush you, but you need to leave.
Yeah. And so they had a reservation system.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it would have been cool to just kind of hang out there a bit more, but unfortunately. Whereas, like, where I feel like when we'd gone to Oga's, I felt like we'd had plenty of time. For this one, I really didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And so it.
And I feel like that might be one of the things too with it being a new ship. They're still trying to figure out how to get everyone to be able to have this experience. But I think it's like the reservations though were running into people's dinner time, so people could have had reservations and not go. So it's kind of like. Yeah. Maybe they should have done a combination of reservations and walk-ups if they're like, oh, we have room. So I don't, but it was very small. Like, it seemed like it could have made it bigger for sure.
It definitely felt artificially tight.
Yeah.
I know one of the things that we talked about is like, it would have been nice if they would have like made one of the shops next to it a little bit smaller so they could have accommodated like another row of tables kind of thing. But alas.
It's a cool vibe though.
Yeah. And so that was the last thing we did that day. And so then we went to sleep and got up the next morning for our final kind of like deboarding day. And so we went and had breakfast again at 1923. They basically have you go back to the last restaurant that you ate at. And so we went and had breakfast there. Said goodbye to our wait staff that had been with us for every meal. And so then we left and kind of went back through. They have like a mini customs that you have to go through.
They kind of just check your passport.
Yeah. And so then from there, we went to the airport. That was where our bus took us. And then we just basically had like 8 hours.
I should have booked an earlier flight home, but our flight home was at like 5 And
Yeah.
I didn't know we'd be off the ship so quickly because we were at the airport by like 10.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
so we had a huge amount of time. And so what we ended up doing, Deanna had an awesome idea. And so
I'm glad you liked it. I wasn't sure.
Instead of us just kind of like chilling in the airport, we rented a car.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we went to Universal Studio, or the Universal Studios City Walk, which is their like outdoor shopping area. And so we'd been there on our previous trip, and so we didn't go into the Universal parks, but this is kind of like a free area. Yeah, it's like a free area that you can go to. You just have to pay for parking in our case.
Yeah, they have some restaurants.
And so we went and ate there at Cowfish, which one of the things that we had there was burger sushi.
Burgushi.
Yeah, burgushi, which is exactly what it sounds like.
It's a weird. Yeah, it's kind of a combination of a burger place and a sushi place. So I wanted to eat there because I'm like, we don't have anything like this.
Yeah, it's very unique, and so it was very good. I think what we had was called the Taste Explosion.
Yeah.
Was the burgushi that we got.
It was had like ground beef and stuff on it.
It definitely took getting used to.
It was strange, but delicious.
Like, a weird combination of flavors. And so then we did some more shopping and
we got another sushi thing that was kind of like a rainbow roll and all in one. I forget what it's called. But then the thing at Cowfish that I dream about is the crab rangoon dip. It was very good. The inside of a crab rangoon in a dish that was hot, and they give you like wontons covered in the sweet and sour sauce that you dip it in. I'm like, I want this to be my last meal, like kind of good. Like this is a sin to eat, but. Yeah, that was probably my one takeaway from that place. I'm like, that crab rangoon dip that should be a crime. Yeah. But anyway.
So then we did some shopping. Like kind of walked around and checked out a bunch of the stores. We didn't buy much, but I did buy some more pins. And so these are like chibi, see if we can get the focus.
Avengers.
Chibi, X-Men characters and Marvel characters. So there's Wolverine, Spider-Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Punisher. They're each their own pin.
They're like tiny.
And so I'm really excited about that because even at Universal, I'm buying Marvel stuff because Universal does have the park rights to Marvel characters east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, it's a weird rule, but...
and so it was really cool to see that. And we walked around, like I said, and we didn't really buy much else, but we went and checked out a lot of the shops. And so there was some really cool stuff, but nothing else that specifically called to us. It was very hot, so we were kind of trying to do the air conditioner thing.
Yeah.
And then we attempted to go to...
We tried to go to some outlets, to go to like some Disney outlet stores to see if we could get cheap Disney merch. But we went to two different ones. One of them was quite far away. But because it was Labor Day, it was insane. Yeah. Like, I should have thought of that before we went all the way over there. But, yeah. I was like, I wanted to go see those shops. I was like, oh, it's Labor Day. Everybody is out shopping because everybody is off.
We've been lulled into a false sense of security by the park lines.
Yeah, that's what happened. We're like, nobody was at the parks, but by the time we got back, it was a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
So, because we got back, we're flying home on Labor Day. And then we went back to the airport and returned the car and hung out for a bit and then came home.
Yep. So that was our trip. High points. The cruise was a ton of fun. Mm-hmm. It was really cool kind of just getting to be on board. And obviously cruises as a whole are always a blast. But it was really cool to kind of see for both of our first Disney cruise. It was really cool to get to be on the new ship and get to experience all of that.
And definitely compared to some another cruise I've been on, the biggest difference I felt like was with the Disney ship is you feel like you're entertained at all times. Mm-hmm. Like you're being entertained by something at all times. And whereas a lot of the other ships, it kind of felt like, well, you could do this or you could just chill somewhere. Like they had some entertainment stuff, but this was like very entertainment centric. And we didn't even mention... We popped in for a few minutes because they had two like movie theaters and they were playing Thor Ragnarok. So not Thor Love and Thunder. So we watched that just walked in to watch it. So it'd be cool to go on a cruise when a new movie is releasing because they'll play movies that are in theaters on the ship. So that was another really cool thing that they had. They had like a little movie theater in there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so like that was really cool. If we would have done a longer cruise, we probably would have stayed and watched more of the movies because like they had Lightyear, they were showing that as well. That was really the only one that they were showing that we hadn't seen. And then like on the top of the ship, on the main deck, there's like a screen there, and so they were showing movies there throughout the day as well. It was hard to watch them during the day because it was so hot, but that is something that you could get out there and do. So like if you were just like chilling in the pool, you could actually just like watch movies while you were chilling. And so
yeah, I think so like for doing Disney a couple days before it, this cruise felt long enough because like we'd already been kind of exhausted from doing Disney World and then doing this. But I think if you're just doing a Disney cruise, you might want to do at least a 3 to 4 day, just to be able to do everything. Yeah. But I definitely really enjoyed it, obviously, because it's Disney. But yeah, I'm excited to maybe try on one of the other ships sometime in different ports and things one day. But we'll see. I think that's all. Yeah.
So with that, we are going to wrap. Again, Twitch folks, keep hanging out. YouTube folks, thank you for watching. Really appreciate your time. And if you would like to see more of our stuff, you can like, comment, and subscribe. That definitely helps us out. And then you can find us on all of our social media. We'll have all of that in the description below. And you can go and check out the video for our Parks D23 reaction, as well as some of our other content on our channel. So yeah, so Twitch, be right back. YouTube, catch you later. Bye.
Bye.